Georgia Southern Eagles are back home in the midst of their worst season start since 1936 and seeking their first win of the season. Georgia State has won 4 of their last 5. They seek to keep pace in the conference championship race. As we welcome you to Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia for Sunbelt football today, it's the 4-3 Georgia State Panthers taking on the 0-7 Georgia Southern Eagles. A look at the conference standings, you'll see that Arkansas State and App State, the only 2 remaining unbeatens, Troy right behind them, and Georgia State just 1 game behind the frontrunners, while Georgia Southern, one of 2 teams remaining, still looking for their first conference win. And good afternoon, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former Penn State Big Ten star and 12-year NFL defensive end Tyoka Jackson. And Tyoka, here in the state of Georgia, they have a rivalry called Clean Old-Fashioned 8. That's Georgia Tech. They've been playing for over a century. Well, Georgia State and Georgia Southern are meeting for just the 4th time, but some are calling this modern-day hate. How will the rivalry impact the game today?
Well, I think it's going to have a huge impact. When you're playing against guys you know from high school to recruiting trail, you want to beat them, and you want to beat them badly. I expect a lot of emotion and a lot of hard hitting on this football game today.
Well, let's talk about the quarterbacks. We'll start with Georgia State. Cool Hand Connor, that's Connor Manning, who's number 1 in the conference in completion percentage.
Yeah, look, these campuses are only separated by 200 miles, but when it comes to quarterbacking styles, it's light years. And for the Panthers, it's all about one guy, Connor Manning. He has complete control of the playbook. Don't take my word for it, though. Louisiana Monroe, he lit up 26 for 35, 446 yards and 4 touchdowns, a school record with those touchdowns. Leads the Sun Belt in passing last year and this year, and it's a 2-headed monster for the other team. Georgia Southern will start true freshman Shy Wertz running their spread option offense. Wertz is long on speed and athleticism, but short on experience. Now, the other head of that monster is junior Cato Brown. Brown will run the option, but he's a better play-action pass thrower, so look for him to have his own set of plays when he hits the field today.
It's the Georgia State Panthers and the Georgia Southern Eagles. Panthers have won 2 straight in the rivalry, including a 34-7 win when they came to Statesboro 2 years ago. Opening kickoff is coming up next. Back in Statesboro, Georgia, summer-like fall day. It's 82 degrees here. It was 50 degrees last week in Troy. Well, summer is back, at least for this final Saturday. Actually, the first Saturday of November. Georgia State leading the all-time series 2-1, including a 30-24 victory last year in the Georgia Dome. Sean Elliott, first-year head coach of the Panthers. He and Chad Lunsford, the interim head coach for Georgia Southern, are fast friends. In fact, Sean Elliott, back when he was the offensive line coach at App State 15 years ago, gave Lunsford a job at App State as the tight end coach. He said Lunsford called him on Monday and said, I need some advice. He said, I don't think so, not this week. Into the game, we'll hug and be best of friends for the rest of our life.
That's right. Now he's trying to hang an L on his mentor and good friend on the other sideline.
Georgia State won the opening toss, deferred. That means Georgia Southern will get the ball first. Miles Campbell takes it at the 5, and Campbell up to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will go on offense for the first time today. And they're trying to break a streak of 9 straight games, Tyoka, where the opponent has scored first.
Yeah, and they're 1-8 in those games, so that's a problem. They need to get off to a really fast start because that sets up what their philosophy is in offense. They don't do well playing from behind. That's just the bottom line, so they need to get off to a great start, change the field position, and also change the scoreboard.
A week ago, they had 40 minutes time of possession to Troy's 17, but lost 38-16. Coach Lunsford said 40 minutes is great. We got to get more than 16 points when we hold the ball for 40 minutes. So Shy Wertz, the quarterback, and he'll go to the air on the opening snap and throw it complete to Miles Campbell. And Campbell fumbles the ball, and Georgia State picks it up. Chandon Sullivan down the sideline and scores. Wow.
So much for that fast start, right? I mean, that's a disaster on play number 1. You just can't have it at home. And I love the play call, but I didn't like the way the back was running from the beginning, just tentative, and he's got to put that ball away. That's high and tight is not what you see there. You see bad fundamentals, and that's an excellent job of picking up and running it in for a touchdown. Chandon Sullivan is one of the better cornerbacks in the Sun Belt, and he knows exactly what to do with the ball when it's on the ground.
So the Panthers score on the opening play of the game with the fumble caused by James Traylor, the scoop and score by Chandon Sullivan. Brandon Wright on for the PAT, and he puts it through, and just like that, Georgia State has jumped out to a 7-0 lead.
Matt, it's so interesting. We talked to Coach Chad Lunsford during the week about some of the things that he changed, and he said one of the first things he did was in practice re-emphasize ball security. They had a drill where, well, not a drill, but just all practice, they talked about having a tip up, and then if they had problems getting the ball on the ground or not handing it to the official after the play, that kid would have to do up downs immediately to sort of reinforce what they're trying to do, and that's just, it's obviously not taking heed right now. When you're handling the football, when you're running with the football, you have the hopes and dreams of your entire program in your hands, and you have to treat it that way, and that's just not what happened right there. You get a guy loosey-goosey with the football, and one play, down 7.
Well, Chad Lunsford, since he took over as the head coach 2 weeks ago, says he has been preaching, how do we respond when bad things happen? Well, a bad thing happens on the opening play. We'll see if the Eagles can rebound from that. Barry Brown kicking off for the Panthers for the second time in 17 seconds. Miles Campbell fumbles the ball again. Picks it up this time, and Campbell is going to make it barely to the 20-yard line. So Campbell, 2 of the first 3 times he touches it, has trouble holding on to it.
Man, he's a heck of a football player, really, because he leads the team in all-purpose yards, averaging 97 yards a game, and they rely on him for big plays. They're going to get the ball to him, whether that's punt returns, kick returns, and as you saw in bubble screens, he's got to do a better job. The way you get rid of this right now, though, is just clear it. All right, one play, act like it didn't happen. For your team, Georgia Southern, it's 0-0. Just forget about what just happened. Let's come out now, execute what we decided to do. We're running off a script. Let's get back to our script and execute football and move the ball down the field.
10th consecutive game, the Eagles have watched their opponents score first. They've won only one of those. We'll find out what happens today. Ramsby on the carry for the Eagles as we take a look at the impact players when the Eagles have the ball.
This entire offensive line on the offense, Georgia Southern has to go for 300 rushing yards to pull off the upset, and it's going to be on the big fellas today. And for the Panthers defense, Williams, the outstanding 6th-year safety, will be asked to make the alley plays on the option and have eye discipline to defend the pass, and that's not easy to do, folks.
And the good news for the Eagles on the offensive line is Tommy Boynton is in the starting lineup today after missing the last 3 games. Monteo Garrett runs it up to the 32-yard line. Brian Williams, the impact player for Georgia State on defense, just made the tackle. We do have a flag down as well.
That's exactly what we talked about, that alley play on the pitch.
So holding the call on the Eagles, that will negate the run by Monteo Garrett.
That's on my list of keys to this game. If we can get to it later, we'll talk about it. But pre- and post-snap penalties have absolutely killed this Eagle team. And just a disastrous start, really, right? 2 plays, 2 problems.
The Eagles are 9th in the conference. They average 63 penalty yards per game. Georgia State's number 1. They average only 40. Second down and long. Wirt's going to fire out here and throw incomplete. It was a wounded duck for Mashad as we take a look at the keys to the game.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Eliminate the pre- and post-snap penalties has plagued them all year, and that shot them in the foot and gets that offense off schedule. And for Georgia State defense, negative plays like TFLs and sacks have proven to snuff out all successful drives all year of that Georgia Southern offense.
Yeah, that is a common theme for Georgia Southern this year. TFLs, penalties, and when you have an offense like them that does not have a great big play ability this year, and you're having to string together 14, 15 plays to score a touchdown, one negative play can kill you. Wirtz is in trouble back there, scrambling around, and gets out of the tackle of Thomas, and now has some room to go, a crushing block, and Wirtz is going to pick up the first down at the 31-yard line. What a great job by Shai Wirtz. He was dead to rights about 4 times back inside the 5-yard line, escaped the pressure, picks up the first.
Well, he's a big-time athlete. We talked about in open. Athleticism and quickness and speed is not his issue. If that play breaks down, you see the creativity and quickness take over, and that's a huge play to get them a first down, a needed first down on this second drive of the ball game.
Absolutely. They have been dead last in the conference in first downs this season. They average under 16 a game. Fields gets his first carry of the game, and he gets up to about the 33-yard line. The linebacker, Ed Kearney, making the tackle, and it's going to be second down. Wesley Fields, the junior out of nearby Americus, Georgia. He was an option quarterback when he was in high school, like every one of their running backs. All of them were option quarterbacks. They've turned into running backs at the college level.
You know what that means, right? That means they can throw the football too, right? So just be alert for that sort of stuff.
So second down. Wirt's going to keep it on the option this time, and he gets to the 36 and no more. Chase Middleton on that tackle, as well as the freshman nose guard, Dante Wilson.
And what you see here is a third and medium situation. And in years past, Georgia Southern, here's a run all day long. They would line up and run the football with the likes of Matt Breida and guys like that and get the first down with no problem. This year, they haven't been able to run the football as they normally do. And so they put the ball in the air and problems start with third and long.
Last in the conference in third down conversions. Passes thrown complete to Malik Henry at the 41-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down. That was a well-placed throw by Wirtz.
Nice route, too. Right along the sidelines, just ran a little comeback, and the ball came out on time and a little to the outside where you want it, away from the DBs, and only one guy can make the play, and that's exactly what happened.
So the Eagles are now 2 of 2 on third down conversions. They were 12 of 19 last week against Troy. Brian Cook, their OC, said the problem was we had to have 19 third down conversions in the game. He was happy with the percentage. It raised their season percentage up to 28%. But it's a bigger problem when you're faced with 19 third down conversions.
Yeah, and just thinking of raising it to 28%. 28% is awful. Let's just be honest about it. 28% third down conversions will not get you winning football, and we know what the record is. So they've got to be better on third down, and they started off that way today.
Second down and 8 coming up. Ball at the 43-yard line. Shai Wirtz has been the quarterback the whole way here. We will see Cato Brown. They have definitely gone to a 2-quarterback system here over the last couple of weeks. Handoff, Wesley Fields met in the backfield by Julian Laurent.
Great play by Julian, Great play there. Laurent, the nose guard, comes through and makes immediate penetration, beats the center one-on-one and comes backside. And if you're going to go backside and not stay front side of that center, you better make the play, young man. And that's exactly what 91 did.
Laurent, fifth-year senior out of Toronto. 12 tackles on the season, 5 for loss coming into today's game.
Now, this is the problem right here. Third and long. This is not what you're built for. You got to find a way to muster up 8 yards to get the first down.
They've converted on their first 2 third down conversions here today. Wirtz going to throw again. Fires across the middle, and it's caught at the 35-yard line for a first down. Obi Fortune moves the sticks. They're now 3 for 3.
What a catch by Fortune. And that's a beautiful pluck going up and getting the ball. That ball is not the most accurately thrown ball, but Fortune doesn't care. He's going to go up and make a play for his freshman quarterback, and that's what leaders do. Beautiful job of running a post. A little high, but it doesn't matter. Force goes and get it.
How about this balanced offense, Tioka? That's 4 pass attempts, 7 rushing attempts.
I love it, because it loosens the defense up, and you cannot just key on the running the option. You got to play pass defense too.
Wesley Fields, nothing doing. Malik Ricks, the defensive end, was trying to strip him of the ball as he was trying to bull his way forward. They picked up only about 1.5 yards on the play.
And this is going to be the key all day. Can you get positive yardage on first down? Because although they've converted these third downs, you can't live on third and long, not with this offense. You have got to be productive on first down and second down to keep it third and medium, and then you can see a playbook that's available.
Second down and 7. Fields again right into the teeth of that defense. Nothing doing. Martirius Allen among the Panthers there to make the stop. Brings up a third down and medium.
Yes, and again, the key is less than 5 yards. And so you can work with that. And don't think that they won't go for it on fourth down on this side of the field as well. So third and less than 5, that's fine. When it begins to be above 5, that's when you got to start scratching your head and wiping your brow and get a little nervous if you're an Eagle fan.
So third down and 5. Toss goes to Kennedy. Kennedy inside the 34 and down to the 32. First carry of the season for Wesley Kennedy, who was a big-time star down in Savannah and state champion Benedictine last year.
Yeah, it's just a freshman, but he's got some quickness as well. All these little guys do. And what I like right now is that our impact players, that offensive line, is starting to get cranked up. They're going to lead the way. If this big upset's going to happen, if their first victory is going to happen, the offensive line of Georgia Southern is going to lead the way.
This is the 14th play of the drive. Wirtz fires complete to Campbell. Campbell, let's see if he holds on to it this time. I don't mean that mean, but he dropped it the first time, and it led to a touchdown.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that. Allen made the tackle. Miles picks up about 6 on the play.
Well, credit Brian Cook for continuing to throw it to him. He has confidence in the guy, and that will build it up from there with that catch. And just keep this in mind, too. That was a nice bubble screen. They'd already run one. Look for the sister play off of that, where they fake the bubble screen. The guy who was blocking, the lead blocker, goes deep for a touchdown pass.
2nd down and 4. Fields slams his body in there down to about the 13.5. Michael Shaw making the tackle for the Panthers. Eagles up, yeah, they go up tempo here on 3rd down and 1. They give it to Fields again, and Fields is going to be close to the first down. Trey Payne was there to make the tackle, but that'll move the sticks. That is their 4th 3rd down conversion on this drive. A drive that is now 15 plays long and has gone 66 yards.
And remember, they came in just under 28%. Just think about that. They're starting to turn that around just on this second drive.
Number 1 in the conference in time of possession, over 33 minutes per game. That's a toss pass there to Miles Campbell coming around the near side. Touchdown, Miles Campbell. Well, that was nicely executed. A well-executed drive by Georgia Southern to get 6.
And why was it executed? Because the offensive line. Look at the short corner, and the speed is all it takes to get around that short corner. But beautifully designed play, went with the jet sweep. Like you said, it was a push pass, though, so that would go in the books as passing yardage for Shy Wirtz, and he's okay with that because, again, his forte is running it. But I think that drive right there was defined by the offensive line taking over the ball game and dominating the line of scrimmage early.
Bass on for the PAT. He pumps it through. A 17-play, 80-yard drive for Georgia Southern. So they respond to the negative play with a positive drive. And with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the opening quarter, we're tied in Statesboro. Sean Elliott's Georgia State Panthers now getting ready to go on offense for the first time today. They scored defensively off of Georgia Southern's fumble on the opening snap, but then the Eagles respond with a 17-play, 80-yard drive. Their offensive coordinator for the Eagles, Brian Cook, told us he really was just concerned about themselves today when asked about the Georgia State defense. Concerned about our execution, taking care of our business on that 80-yard drive. They took care of their business.
There's no question about it. And, you got to give them credit for that. That's the way you want to come out and play and respond.
And Tyler Bass boots it through the back of the end zone. And what a weapon he has been for their special teams. That is now 23 out of 29 kickoffs this season that have been touchbacks for Tyler Bass. And you compare that with Georgia State, they have not had one touchback out of their kick coverage team this year. So the Panthers go on offense for the first time today, led by Connor Manning, the fifth-year senior quarterback out of Lake Forest, California, one of the top high school quarterbacks ever to come out of that state. Played at Utah sparingly. He was on the roster for 3 years and then transferred. Leads the conference in completion percentage. He'll go to the air on the very first play and throw it complete to Glenn Smith out of the backfield, and Glenn Smith has a first down up to the 40-yard line.
Just a basic swim pass out of 11 personnel, and nobody takes the back. And if you don't take the back, believe me, that quarterback, Connor Manning, will find the open man.
Travis Trickett said he had that California cool when this coaching staff arrived back in the spring. They said we had to strip that down a little bit and then build him back up. He's really grown up and matured as a quarterback and a leader in this program. Flags are out as Glenn Smith gets stuffed in the backfield. Deshaun Cooper, the defensive end, was there to meet him as the Panthers lose yards on that play, but we'll check the penalty call from our referee, Jeremy Parker.
Excellent penetration.
Offside. Defense. Number 92. 5 yards. Replay. First down.
Raymond Johnson, the freshman. So that's a free 5 yards for the Panthers.
Well, that'll get you excellent penetration, won't you? If you get offsides.
Get an early jump. Isn't that what you used to do, Tyoka?
Well, I tried.
You
not
time
to
it,
do
right?
too
You
much.
time it,
That's
right?
right. But the whole thing is, though, you can't listen to the cadence. You got to go on movement. But the thing is, you'll get movement from the quarterback early. You'll get movement from another offensive lineman. Whatever moves in your peripheral vision or in front of you, that's when you go.
First down and 5. Ball at the 46-yard line for the Panthers. Handoff, Glenn Smith going around the right edge. Gets submarined. Nice tackle by the safety, R.J. Murray, as we take a look at the impact players when the Panthers have the ball.
Well, it starts with number 18 for the Panthers, Penny Hart. Penny is one of the top playmakers in the Sun Belt Conference, and he'll line up all over the place. And for the Eagles, keep your eye on number 33. D coordinator Zoe Costantini called Reese his most talented linebacker. He will strike you.
Second down, Penny Hart's at the top of your screen if you're wondering. Manning looking downfield, and now he's going to be sacked from behind. Ran out of time and got sacked from behind by Raymond Johnson, the freshman defensive end who was offsides just a few moments ago.
They have really been happy with this freshman's attitude and his play. He plays fast. In fact, again, Coach Zoe Costantini says this guy's an NFL-type guy, only a freshman. You don't hear too many coaches bring up those 3 letters when talking about freshman football players.
That's just the 12th sack of the season for this Eagles defense. In fact, Raymond Johnson, Melton Brown, and Demetrius Lofton, all 3 freshmen. Zoe Costantini thinks these guys have a shot at the next level one day. Third down, Manning back to pass. Panthers number 1 in the conference on third down. Throws, and was it intercepted? It's going to be ruled incomplete. Freeman, the safety, jumped in front of that pass of Todd Boyd and tried to take it away from him. Apparently, it ended up on the ground, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Panthers.
Well, Connor Manning got caught staring down. They had plenty of time going through his progressions and comes and stares down, and that's all it needed. I mean, that's all Freeman needed was to see that look over to the left. If that ball's not going to come out fast, he's going to make a break on that look, and they're lucky that that ball is not near the 50-yard line for the Southern team to take over.
Oliver Holdenson's going to punt. If you're wondering about a review there, I don't think there's any angle where that thing would have been overturned anyway. You could never really see the ball. Yeah, you could never see the ball. It was kind of obscure, and I think they are going to review this thing.
Delay a game.
No, just a delay a game.
5 yards.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
As we watched 3 different replays, you could never see whether the ball hit the ground or not. The officials said that it did, so you'd have to have video evidence to show that it didn't.
And from the defensive point of view, that's a missed opportunity, though. I mean, you got to catch the football when it's thrown to you. You're not going to have Connor Manning throwing too many interceptions today, and so when you get an opportunity, make that play 24.
Holdenson averages 37.6 per punt. Panthers are 9th in the conference, 36 yards per net punt. And a line drive kick that's going to be taken by Campbell at the 25-yard line. Makes one man miss. And Campbell going to be brought down after a 10-yard gain by Ricks at the 35-yard line. And another flag down on the field.
This Campbell guy's an excellent punt returner. He averages 11.9. When you're getting near 12 yards of punt return, that's balling, because most special teams coaches want about 10 yards. If you can get a first down.
During the return, illegal block in the back, 79, 10 yards, first down.
So that's going to back the Eagles up as they start their 3rd possession of the game. 4.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. We're tied at 7 here in Statesboro. Back in Statesboro, 4:31 to play in the first quarter. Matt Stewart along with Tyoka Jackson, Georgia State and Georgia Southern tied at 7. Eagles went 17 plays, 80 yards on their last drive.
That play right there was the big one on third down. Wirt scrambles and picks up a first down, and it sort of just got a momentum situation going. But they picked up all those third downs, and that's not what they've been doing all year. So you got to feel really good if you're a Georgia Southern fan that they have been able to execute on third down and even third and long, and finishing with touchdown.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles, 3rd offensive possession of the day. They run option. Wirtz has no place to go with it. Naplin, the safety, is going to drop him for a loss back at the 11-yard line. You'll see they'll probably spot it at the 13. And A loss of 3.
Now take a look at the end of the play. I want to see number 15, Monte Garrett, go block for your quarterback now. When the option has broken down and it appears that the quarterback's going to keep the football, go block for him. He can get the edge and get yourself a couple more yards.
Yeah, and when you're running in front of him, block for him because the pitch ain't coming.
That's right.
So 2nd down and 13 now. Handoff goes to Garrett, and Monteo Garrett. Not a lot of running room right there. A bunch of Panthers are there. Shaw and Williams are all there.
If you're Georgia State, this is where you want this offense. They've let them off the hook a couple times early, but a steady dot at 3rd and long is going to be a problem for the guys in blue.
Yeah, not Williams, but Kearney, and Kearney ends up on his back. Kearney, the redshirt sophomore linebacker out of Carver, Atlanta, came in with 28 tackles in the season. And we'll take a break as they tend to Ed Kearney at the 17-yard line. 3rd down and 8 coming up for Georgia Southern with 3:37 to play in the quarter. They're 5 for 5 on 3rd down so far here today as they get Kearney off the field.
If you're Nate Fuqua, the defensive coordinator for Georgia State, what do you dial up here? Are they going to run the football or pass? You just don't know when you're playing against this type of offense.
They've thrown for 46 yards already here in the first quarter. Wirtz pump fake, got a block, and not going to be able to get to the sticks, however, as Chandon Sullivan makes the tackle. Of course, the Panthers' lone touchdown today came on the scoop and score by Sullivan as he became the first Panther in their brief history to have 2 defensive touchdowns in his career.
Wirtz again shows how dynamic he can be when the play blocks drops off and he has to make it up on his own. He's an excellent athlete, but what I like was the call defensively was zone. And that way you have all eyes on the quarterback. You can come rally. You will not see a steady diet of man coverage from this Georgia State team because that's when your back is turned to the offense. The quarterback can now start to scramble and no one's looking at him, and that could be a real problem.
Matt Flynn punting. Penny Hart is deep. It's a shallow kick that bounces backwards and still rolling. That turns out to be a disaster for Georgia Southern as they're going to spot it dead at the 36-yard line. Basically a 20-yard kick by Matt Flynn that gives the Panthers the ball on the plus side of the 50.
Well, I like keeping the ball out of Penny Hart's hand, but not like that. I mean, you can do it a different way. Kick it high, make them fair catch it, or kick it out of bounds after it goes 45 yards or so. You don't want a 20-yard punt, 20-yard net. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Officially a 14-yard punt as it's down at the 37-yard line, and the Panthers back on offense. They have not yet been able to get the ball to Penny Hart, who's one of the top, if not the top wide receiver in the Sun Belt Conference. Manning hands off Glenn Smith, and Glenn Smith dragging the defender along. That's Vildor, the cornerback. And that's a pickup of 6 on the play down to the 31-yard line. And a flag down again.
Offense, 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Hunter Atkinson, the left tackle, flagged for that penalty.
Well, both of these offenses are making it hard on themselves by committing the penalties. You see a steady diet of 11 personnel from Georgia State. That's 1 back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. They're trying to manipulate the box of the defense and create good running lanes, and they've struggled running the football all day. That's the one missing dimension from this offense. If they were to be a really good front-end football team, this might be one of the top 5 offenses in all of college football.
It's now 1st and 20. Manning stands in there and fires complete to Glenn Smith. Tackle made by R.J. Murray, the safety, as they got about 6 of those yards back.
Hey, Glenn Smith is an all-purpose demon. You can line him up and run routes. I mean, that's a slant route as good as you'll see a wide receiver running, and he's a starting tailback. They get the ball to him in a lot of different ways. He's a very valuable member of this team.
I thought it was very interesting. Sean Elliott says he could do more than he's doing. He's pretty much doing everything. Manning up top, and wide receiver broke off his route. Todd Boyd was the intended target. He was covered out there by the safety, Sean Freeman.
Yeah, but back what you said about Sean. I mean, he that's coaching one-on-one, right? He wants more. All great coaches want more out of you. You want to pull all the best. He thinks this guy could be great. I mean, just really one of the elite players, not just in the belt, but also in college football. And he just thinks that his ceiling for himself is too low. And he's trying to push it up. He said he wished he had more time with him. He could have turned him into one of the great all-time players in the university's history.
3rd down and 14. Panthers are 0 for 1 on their third downs today. Of course, they're 47% for the season, which is number 1 in the conference. Manning, heavy rush, double sack. The safety Moon got to him, and so did Tamarcio Reese. A Moon Reese sandwich for Manning way back at the 50.
Love the call. They decided to heat him up with the blitz and the A-gaps, and you got to do a better job of blocking if you're Glenn Smith. You can't give a one-hitter quitter on the guy. You got to sustain the block and give your quarterback a chance to try to make this team get hurt with man coverage. You get a one-hitter quitter. The blitz beats it. Sack. Excellent job by the defense.
Brandon Wright's going to punt. That's the second sack for the Eagles here in this quarter. They had only 11 for the entire season when the day started. Wright, line drive kick that's going to sail into the end zone. A lot of distance from too much because they will bring it out to the 20.
So that short kick just a couple plays ago just doesn't come back and hurt him. Yeah, I mean, that's great defense right there. Way to respond.
You had a big penalty, then you had a quarterback sack.
Yeah.
And a big stand there by the Georgia Southern defense as they get the ball back for their offense.
We knew the energy in the stadium was a little different today. I mean, obviously you got a lot of Georgia State fans who made the trip, and so the stands are a little more full than usual. It's a lot more energy in the game, and we talked about how emotion would play a part of it because a lot of these guys played against each other in high school, played with each other in high school, saw each other on the recruiting trail. This is not going to be your normal, typical Saturday here in Statesboro. This is a rivalry game, and so you have to sustain this energy, though. That's the whole thing. This is a 4-quarter football game. You can't just come out and play well early. You got to sustain this thing.
Cato Brown now in there at quarterback and under center, and he bobbled the snap and fell on top of it. This is exactly what happened to him last week at Troy when they went under center. On their second snap, they fumbled it. And like today, they were fortunate to get on top of it.
And this is what I talked about in the opening, him having his own set of package plays and being under center is a part of that. They're not a great under center team. Great meaning they don't do it a great many times. And so it's not something that they're really comfortable with doing. But he's comfortable with it. He plays better under center. It's another look that the defense has to prepare for. So they're doing it now and slowly opening up what they do out of it. But starts with just getting the snap first.
Now the Eagles out of the gun and the quarterback draw, and Cato Brown got snapped down real quick by Michael Shaw, the linebacker.
Love the play by Shaw. He had to stick his foot in the ground and redirect. When that tackle blocks down and you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, you got to close with that offensive tackle. He did a great job of doing that and clicks the heels, lays out. Excellent effort play by Michael Shaw.
Well, they feel like Cato Brown is well suited for this number 2 kind of relief role, if you want to go that way with it, because he's a guy that can spark the team. They feel like Shai Werts is more of a guy that needs to get in there, kind of develop a rhythm. We played 1 quarter in Statesboro, the rivalry game. Georgia State and Georgia Southern tied at 7 after 15 minutes. Fourth all-time meeting between Georgia State and Georgia Southern, and Coach Sean Elliott said, when you have a rivalry game, you certainly throw the records out. He knows that firsthand. 2 years ago when he was the interim at South Carolina, they had lost 4 straight going into the Clemson game, and they nearly beat number 1 Clemson, lost that game 37-32.
He knows it, but right now does his team know it? I mean, they came in here like they thought the 0-7 Georgia Southern team was going to lay down for him, and that's not going to happen, folks. They're going to have to come and take this win on the road.
It's 3rd and 10. Cato Brown has some time. Now he's going to scramble. Tries to get to the outside. He's going to run out of real estate as Kearney drives him out of bounds. Kearney back on the field after being helped off a couple of moments ago. And now it's going to be 4th down in a punting situation for the Eagles.
After going 5 for 5 early in the first quarter on 3rd downs, now this is 2 straight 3rd and longs they could not convert. And we talked about it. Yeah, you did a couple 3rd and longs early, Eagles, but that's not where you want to be. And that's going to be a story if this game continues to go along. If Georgia State can continuously put the Georgia Southern Eagles in long situations on 3rd down, they will win this football game.
Time of possession, Eagles 11-16 in that first quarter. The Panthers only 3:44. Flynn, better punt this time, booms it. Penny Hart calls timeout, or calls fair catch at the 27-yard line. And that's where the Panthers will go on offense, still trying to get the ball to Penny Hart. They haven't been able to get a pass to him so far today. Early second quarter, Matt Stewart along with Tioka Jackson were tied at 7. Georgia State, Georgia Southern here at Paulson Stadium. Tioka, let's take a look at the keys when Georgia State has the ball.
Well, State's got to beat them in the punch, and they've kind of taken care of that early, right? They got the fumble return for a touchdown, and we know that they're 1-8 in games where they have not scored first, talking about Southern. And then for Southern, if the Eagles defense can make the Panthers kick field goals in the red zone, I believe they can keep this thing close and win it in the end.
Kyler Neal gets his first carry of the game, runs right into the hands of Deshaun Cooper. No gain there for Kyler Neal, if at all.
If you are the Panthers defense, you cannot allow this team to run the football on you. You have no chance of slowing them down if they get any semblance of balance in their offense. You have to make this a throwing team all day. Now, they can still beat you throwing the football because of the great quarterback wide receiver tandem they have, but you cannot allow them to be two-dimensional.
Manning back to pass, fires, it's complete to Devin Gentry up to the 43-yard line. They'll spot it at the 44, and that's a first down for the Panthers. That's just their second first down of the game.
Gentry's just a sophomore. Runs a nice circle route, gets behind the defense. Ball comes out with great accuracy.
And Logan Hunt came across the line of scrimmage.
Offense.
But my man up here, Tioka Jackson, he can spot a moving offensive lineman from 5 miles away. You saw him go, didn't you?
Yeah, I was rolling those arms. That was false start all day. You know, that's the one thing I'm biased about. I'm not a huge fan of offensive linemen because they used to kick my butt for too long, and that never gets out of your head. But
well, you kicked a few offensive linemen butt yourself, all Big 10, 12 years in the NFL. I'm sure there's some out there that don't like you.
Well, maybe. That's what I tell my kids.
You know
anyway.
all those Christmas cards you don't get every year? That's from the offensive linemen. They don't send you Christmas cards. Kyler Neal on the run, and Kyler Neal gains a couple of yards right there. Logan Hunt making the tackle for Georgia Southern. And it's going to bring up second down. And, you know, Travis Trickett, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers, said, look, we got to run the ball. We don't have to get big yards in the running game, but we got to run it a little bit in order to get this offense going.
Yeah, because if you don't, then the defense won't be honest at all. They'll just run nickel the whole game. They'll blitz when they want to. You have got to be able to hand the ball off at least some of the time, just to have a chance to set up some other things. Play
action right here. Manning has time, fires to the sideline, trying to get the ball to Tamir Jones, their freshman wide receiver. That's incomplete. And let's take a look, if we can, over the next couple of plays and see what Georgia Southern is doing with Penny Hart. They said they were going to bracket him. They have not been able to get the ball to Penny Hart yet. Well,
I've seen Coastal Carolina decide not to bracket Penny Hart, and he ripped them, and he destroyed them. So that's what you got to do to have any chance against this offense. You've got to identify where 18 is and have a plan with multiple people. And right now, you're seeing the safety cheat over towards 18, but that leaves you vulnerable to some other things. And let's see if Connor Manning can take care of the voids left in the defense.
Well, Hart's at the bottom of your screen, now running a crossing route, and the flag out on 3rd down and 12.
False. 17.
Well, that was Glenn Smith that time.
Remember, I mentioned one of the keys for Georgia Southern was the pre-snap and post-snap penalties. Right now, Georgia State is doing just as bad a job.
Yeah, that's number 4 on them.
Yeah, and you can't win on the road like that. You're not even giving yourself a chance to get started. Now, on that last play, they were running man coverage on everybody except for number 18. They were double covering him right from the start, and that's, to me, a smart plan. Force someone else to beat you.
3rd down and 17.
See R.J. Murray treating over to 18, adding extra coverage over the top.
Smith goes in motion to the top side. Manning has a pocket and fires, and it's complete at the 49-yard line to Tamir Jones. That's going to be short of the first down. Monquavian Brinson making that tackle, and the Panthers likely got a punt again.
But why? It was the penalty on the play before. See, there's going to be money to be made in these man coverage situations for Jones and Adifi and Gentry and Boyd, Dorn. They're going to have man coverage all over this field because they've decided to double Penny Hart wherever he goes. And so right now they're starting to figure that out on the sidelines. Connor Manning will identify. It's just that will these other guys, these others, step up in place of Hart?
Brandon Wright, the punter, line drive kick, returnable by Kennedy. And Kennedy is dropped right away at the 16-yard line. Very little gain, if at all. Remy Lazarus making that tackle for the Panthers on special teams, and we've got a timeout. 3 minutes into the second quarter, still knotted up at 7. Georgia Southern heads back out on offense, leading Georgia State 7-7. The Panthers score coming on the Eagles' first offensive snap, a defensive scoop and score by Chandon Sullivan, while the Eagles have racked up 110 yards of offense through the first 18 minutes of this ball game, 64 rushing and 46 passing. Shai Werts back in there at quarterback. He's run the offense for all but one possession so far. Monteo Garrett taking the toss sweep and nowhere to go. Julian Laurent is there. Martirius Allen is there. And that's going to be a no gain for Monteo Garrett.
Trajan Stevens McQueen actually made that play. Didn't make the tackle, but he made the play by turning the ball back. That ball was designed to go outside. And, McQueen got great penetration through the D gap, made that ball go backside, and his friends were there to make the tackle.
Handoff goes to Ramsby, and Ramsby nothing, and that's Trajan Stevens McQueen making the tackle right there. But problems for Georgia Southern that have existed all season long in that 0-7 start, the mistakes, and it put them in an early hole here.
Yeah, you just can't have it. 0-7 is really bad, but there's reasons for 0-7. It's these miscues. You have to be on the details. Don't give me cool guys, and don't give me guys who don't care about the everyday details of ball security, because if you give me guys like that, you're going to give me bad results. And so they need to get on top of that right now if they want any chance of winning this football game.
Werts fires, and it is caught by Fortune, but short of the first down at the 24-yard line.
That's a great catch again by Obi. He made another one over the middle of the field, if you remember, in that second drive of the ball game. Run a nice sprint out. Werts can throw the football on the run, very accurately on the run. And he struggles when he's in the pocket throwing it intermediate, but deep throws, short throws, and on the run, he's excellent. But again, look at the trend. The last 3 third downs, Georgia Southern is 0-3 because it's been more than 3rd and 5. We said a steady diet of anything more than 3rd and 5 is a problem, and that's showing up right now.
3 straight 3-and-outs for the Eagles ever since that 17-play, 80-yard drive. Flynn. This could be returnable. Instead, Hart's going to have it hit in front of him at the 35-yard line and bounce out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 32, and that's where the Panthers will be on offense when we get back. The Eagle is flying here in Statesboro. Georgia Southern's looking for their first win of the year, and we're tied at 7 with 10 minutes to play in the half. Georgia State back out on offense. Big challenge for Travis Trickett is to figure out a way to get Penny Hart the ball.
Yeah, they got to figure it out, because right now he has no catches, and he's your guy. He's the guy that makes them go from the receiver position.
No catches, no targets. They have not even thrown the ball his way yet. He's lined up at the top of your screen right now, and they hand the ball off to Glenn Smith. Glenn Smith runs right into Logan Hunt and to Marcio Reese, and it's going to be second down. Panthers with only 42 yards of offense in the first 20 minutes of this game. And they've held the ball for only 6 minutes and 20 seconds. The Eagles are double that. Manning back to pass, fires, and complete to Glenn Smith. And Glenn Smith lowers his shoulder into Monquavian Brinson and gets close to the first down with Chris De La Rosa over there to help on the tackle. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
That's the way you finish off a run there. I mean, you catch that football, don't dance around on the sidelines, turn and get straight up field and make this a 3rd and short for your offense. Excellent job by Smith.
Panthers 0 for 3 on 3rd downs. This is 3rd and 1. And they didn't get it here to Marcio Reese. Met Glenn Smith at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be close as they put the spot down. I think he's going to be shy by a little bit.
I told you to watch number 33. Look at him play off the block and make the tackle with one arm. I mean, that's a beautiful job. Played off the block of Gilmore, who goes 6'3", 288 pounds, and Reese is only 220, 5'11", 220. But he's all attitude. He's all toughness. Great job.
Junior out of Moultrie, Georgia, played at Colquitt County High School. State championship contender in this state every year. 21 tackles on the year coming into today's game.
He loves to play downhill. You like those downhill linebackers.
Wright punts it away on 4th and a yard, and it's going to bounce into the end zone. Nearly pinned him inside the 5, but the ball's going to come out to the 20, and that's good news for the Eagles. So Georgia Southern heads back out there on offense. They've been held to 3 and out after that 17-play, 80-yard drive. What have the Panthers done defensively to shut down the Eagles since then?
Well, they shut them down early in the drive. I mean, their first and second down production running the football hasn't been there because they're getting really good penetration. Talking about the Panthers. Held them to 1 and 2 yard gains on first and second down. That's what you need. Keep it beyond 3rd and 5. You're in really good shape. They did that early in the first quarter, but then you had Wirtz do some Houdini-type stuff to get him a first down on 3rd down. That won't happen all game, all right? So you keep doing what you're doing if you are the Panther defense, shutting down that first and second down run, and you'll be in a really good position to pull off the win here on the road.
Traylor inches up on the edge for the Panthers. They block him, and the pass is thrown complete to Campbell for a short 2-yard gain at the 23-yard line. Panthers defense is coming off one of their best performances ever. I'm talking about in program history when they beat South Alabama 2 Thursday nights ago, 21-13, held the Jags to 41 yards net rushing.
That'll get it done, won't it?
And Xavier Johnson, one of the top backs in the conference, -3 yards rushing. Wirtz is going to toss to Fields, makes one man miss, but Matarius Allen is there to drop him. Allen to defensive end. This is a really good Georgia State defense.
Fast.
Nate Fuqua, as you talked about, was the defensive coordinator at Wofford, so he's very familiar with this type of offense. In the Southern Conference, you got the Citadel. Georgia Southern was in that conference. Wofford runs it. They run this option all through that Southern Conference.
You're right.
So Fuqua ain't fooled by this. He knows what to expect from the Eagles offensively.
And like the fans saw, they took the dive, they took the quarterback in the pitch. Option football is assignment football. If you do your assignment well, shouldn't be a problem.
Wirtz on a play action, has time, fires to the sideline. It's caught by Fortune or not. Yep, they're going to rule that a catch at the 35.5-yard line. I thought the ball was kind of sliding down his leg a little bit as he was falling out of bounds, but they ruled it a catch.
Not exactly sure why the DB was playing so far off. I mean, it's only 3rd and 8. He was playing like 12 yards deep, and if you do that, a comeback will be there for you all day. You know, that's Sullivan, who's, again, an excellent corner, but that's a lot of cushion being given to get a first down.
1st and 10 at the 35. I thought that thing might have been overturned. I thought he was juggling it as he was going out of bounds. It stands. Ramsby batters his way up to the 39-yard line, picks up 3 on the play. Julian Laurent is there for the Panthers. Those guys up front, Laurent, Allen, the freshman Wilson, Terry Thomas, and they're playing without McKindy Cherador, who's still out with a broken forearm, although we were told that Cherador might get in the game today.
And Cherador is an excellent football player. I mean, you add him to this mix. This is a group that had 7 sacks against Louisiana Monroe. If you add Cherador to this mix, that defensive line goes from very good to great.
4-man front with Shaw lined up on the edge over on the left side. And the handoff goes to Ramsby. He dances in the hole, no place to go. Traylor is there to make the stop. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and medium for the Eagles.
I'd like to see L.A. hit that thing up in there. I mean, there was no way to dance and get yourself outside, and that's not the type of back he is. You know, he's more of a power and slashing back, but the dance and make you miss stuff, that's not who he is. Hit it up in there, get yourself a positive 3, and make this go from 3rd and medium to 3rd and short.
72 yards passing, 67 yards passing, 72 yards rushing for the Eagles so far in this game. Pitch to the outside and down the sideline, and a first down, but a flag out as well back at the 47-yard line.
Excellent design. Went fly sweep motion and ran the option out of it, and the sweep guy becomes the pitch guy in Campbell. And so we know Campbell's an excellent player in space. They continue to get him the football, and that's a smart thing, but the penalties are rearing their ugly head again.
Illegal low block offense. Number 5, 15 yards. 3rd down.
Ellis Richardson, the tight end, was called for the illegal block. There it is, I guess.
Not exactly sure why that's illegal.
Was Richardson down on it? It looked like he was down on his knees and threw a block.
Yeah, I don't understand. And the defender was not engaged. They would call that a chop block, so they didn't call that. They called it illegal Low block? Not sure. I'm not sure about that one. I'm going to have to send out a tweet to somebody to give me a understanding of that one, because in 24 years of football, I've never seen that one.
3rd and 14, Wirtz. Pocket breaking down, he's in trouble, and he gets away. Shaw's got a beat on him and gets him out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Punting situation for the Eagles.
Oh, that guy's scary. He can extend the play with the best of them. He's such a young player, so what you're starting to see now, he's starting to look for the rush and look to extend the play before the pocket even breaks down. As he continues to get more snaps, he'll learn to try to win from the pocket first and let what the defense does to the pocket tell him what to do in terms of breaking it. And so he's looking at the rush. That's not good fundamental quarterbacking. He's so young, he'll get better at that.
Flynn punting for a 4th time. He's averaging 35 yards a kick today. Had a really bad 14-yard kick that killed his average earlier. They were able to overcome that.
Offense, 28 yards. Replay, 4th down.
Sometimes with these young quarterbacks, when they have an early scramble and they do something really successful, they want to keep going back to that scramble and think that they can make a hero play every single play, or every single 3rd down, and that's not going to get it done. You want him to go through his progressions in that pocket, and if he begins to break down, then he can use his legs to make something happen.
5 penalties now on the Eagles. Retreating is Penny Hart all the way back to the 16-yard line. Called fair catch. So once again, Penny Hart unable to do anything with the football on the rare occasion when he's able to get his hands on the ball today.
That's a redemption punt by Flynn Neer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Blasted that thing out of there and flips the field and pins the Panthers deep back at their 17-yard line. That was a 54-yard kick by Flynn. So the Panthers offense goes back out there. They have not been able to generate anything against a Georgia Southern defense that's dead last in the conference, giving up 41 points per game, and 10th in the conference, allowing 457 yards per game. Manning firing, and it is caught by Penny Hart, and Tamarcio Reese gets him on the ground at the 28-yard line. First time they've been able to find Penny Hart, who leads the conference with 7.6 catches per game and 7 touchdown receptions.
They still had him bracketed, but they had him bracketed deep, so they ran an underneath route, and Hart is an excellent route runner. He'll get open against man coverage underneath.
Glenn Smith met at the line of scrimmage that time by Freeman, the safety. And Zoe Constantini, the DC for Georgia Southern, told us they were going to have a tight rotation on that back line. He was upset with some of the defensive backs last week in that loss at Troy. Said, we're going to play our starters and play them a lot.
That's why I love football, because when you screw it up, there are consequences. Just like in life, when you don't do things the right way, there are consequences, and you give opportunities for guys to get better.
Manning fires, incomplete. Tamir Jones, the intended target. That was Freeman, the safety, on the coverage. And it's going to be 3rd down.
Jones is looking for a flag, but he's going to, again, have opportunities, man coverage. He's going to come up with the football. He's going to have to outfight the DB for it, get his hands on the ball, squeeze it, and come down with it. He can have a huge game today because of the plan to take away Penny Hart with double coverage. He's got to step up.
I'll tell you what, the guys they've had back there pretty much all day, Vildor, Moon, Murray, Brinson, Freeman, those guys are getting it done. Up top they go, downfield Penny Hart got his fingers on it but couldn't haul it in. And it's going to be 4th down. The nickel back, Daryl Baker, was running step for step with him, and the Panthers have to punt again.
Zoe Constantini is changing up the bracketing. This time he has Murray play underneath, and Hart runs by the corner, Daryl Baker, and it's just the ball a little overthrown. That was a great opportunity. And if you're Georgia State, you got to take advantage of these opportunities to get the ball to Hart, because they're trying to take him out of the ball game.
This will be the 5th punt for the Panthers, who just cannot get their offense in sync here today against this Eagles team. Wright punting. Let's see if Kennedy has a chance to return. He will from the 30. Got a block from his man Campbell in front of him. And Kennedy across the 50-yard line and down to the 48. How about that teamwork right there? Miles Campbell says, I'm just not all about taking it back. I'll block for you so you can take it back.
That's right. That's team football. That's the way it's played. have these line drive punts. It gets a little scary if they can handle it, and that ball does not hit the ground. And look out here, because you're going the other way in a heartbeat. Excellent blocking and excellent job of running, fearlessly running up in there.
This is really the first day they've been able to get Wesley Kennedy kind of involved in things. Like I said before, a really dynamic player out of nearby Savannah, Georgia in high school, but really hasn't been a big part of the game plan. He's had some special team moments so far today. Wirtz fires complete to Fortune. That's his third catch of the day. And Fortune is going to be met head on by Chandon Sullivan. Sullivan didn't play until the fourth quarter last week against South Alabama. You're talking about an all-conference corner. Coach thought that maybe he took it a little bit too easy in practice the week before because of his shoulder and said, look, man, shoulder or not, you don't practice, you don't play.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part of the deal. And I love it again. Again, like football, like life. There are consequences of not doing things the right way. If you want to take a lackadaisical attitude, think you're going to rest on your laurels in life, it's going to come back and bite you. Same thing in football.
Handoff Fields, and Fields gets a couple on the play. Thomas in on that tackle for the Panthers, along with Middleton.
I've got to give Brian Cook some love because he's throwing the football early on the drives. First down throws are excellent because that throws the defense off. They're loading up the box to stop the run. You get a free 4 or 5 yards on a really safe throw, bubble screens and whatnot. Excellent playing by Mr. Cook.
Wirtz going to fire again and broken up, flag out. Fortune was the target, and that was Clay. B.J. Clay maybe had some contact there before the ball got there.
Just a stop route on the outside. That ball comes out a little late, which is scary. And I think that late ball coming out messed up the timing on the break of the football by the defensive back.
Okay, I thought I saw a flag, but apparently not. So it's going to be 4th down and 3.
I thought I saw one too, and I saw a crazy reaction on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Did they pick it up?
They must have, because I thought I saw a flag thrown. But maybe I'm just seeing things. 4th down and 3 with under 2 minutes to play in the half.
And the way B.J. Clay reacted, he looked a little guilty too.
Flynn, end over end kick, is going to hit at the 5 and kick into the end zone. Nearly worked. They had Darrell Baker right there with a chance to down it inside the 5, but they couldn't execute it. So the ball's going to come out to the 20 with 1 minute and 51 seconds left in this half. And the Panthers offense still looking for their first points. Georgia State's points coming on the scoop and score by Chandon Sullivan on the very first play of the game.
On that punt, there was excellent blocking by Jonathan Adifi, the redshirt freshman. He's blocking the gunner on the outside. If he doesn't do his job, that gunner goes down and catches that ball or bats it back in the field of play, and that's inside the 5. But he does his job and continues to block the gunner, and that ball goes right into the end zone.
67 yards passing for the Panthers, -3 rushing. Manning with a pocket, fires complete to the tight end, Roger Carter, and he steps out of bounds. That'll kill the clock with 1:46 to play in the half. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Will Georgia Southern be content to rush 4 and sit back in coverage, or will they try to heat this pocket up again with a blitz?
4 with their hands on the ground. And they rush just 4. Manning going to step up and run. He's going to get caught from behind by Raymond Johnson again, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Excellent rush and excellent
Actually, pardon me, that's a
presence.
first down. I thought they had a first down the first time around, and that gets them the first down right there. Pardon.
Sure. But no, Connor feeling that rush and getting right upfield to get that first down just shows what a 5th-year senior with all that experience can do for you in that pocket.
Glenn Smith. No running room right there. Logan Hunt is there for the tackle. So is Ty Phillips. They're 2 fine defensive tackles. Clock continues to run. Panthers with 3 timeouts. Not using any right here as it's down to 70 seconds to play in the half.
Like the play call, plenty of time. Get yourself 4 yards and keep the chains moving if you can.
Manning going to fire, and Hart the target. Brinson breaks it up. Monquavian Brinson out of Mays High School in Atlanta has really developed into one of the finest corners in this conference. 3 picks, 7 PBU on the season. That was number 8 right there.
Great job of zone coverage. You see him break on that football. Defensive backs work on that every single day of their life. Putting that back foot in the ground and going forward after going backwards. That's easy to say, extremely hard to do. Excellent job right there by Monquavian.
3rd down and 6. Manning time, fires off the hands of Penny Hart. Let him just a little bit too much, and once again you got Brinson out there on the coverage, and it's going to be 4th down.
And the inability to get on the same page with Hart has been an issue for this offense. They've been great all season, but today just a little bit off on that timing. And I'm just wondering, is the plan of bracketing, they're getting their hands on Hart, I wonder, is that throwing off the timing of his routes?
1 catch, 11 yards on 4 targets for Hart. Wright is on to punt from the 20-yard line. Setting up a return again. Line drive kick, chance to return. Kennedy going to take it on the hop at the 25. Kennedy in space. Kennedy across the 40. And Kennedy out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Where you been, young man?
He says, I'm here today. You can forget about all 7 weeks of the season. That's what you love about college football. Today is all that matters. Don't worry about tomorrow, and certainly don't worry about yesterday. Let's worry about what happens today on this field in our stadium. And right now, the guys in navy blue are playing like they're 7-0 and not 0-7 with their energy.
Now let's see if the Eagles can execute a quick offense here. Only 47 seconds left, but they do have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Well, before that punt return, I think they'd have been content with going in 7-7, but after that return, you got to give it a shot to see if you can change the scoreboard right before the half.
Yeah, get 20 yards and try a field goal. They throw complete out on the edge. Malik Henry makes the grab. That's the 10th completion for Shai Werts in this game. He's 10 for 12.
I'm really, really impressed with Werts. His accuracy we talked about on the run, he's deadly. But the route running of these receivers, they don't get a chance to catch a lot of footballs, but their route has been really crisp. I mean, Malik Henry came in with just 4 receptions. And again, the run out route that crisp, that's very nice.
He does a good job of throwing on the run, too. That's going to be a first down catch by Henry. Back-to-back catches by Henry. And the clock will stop as the Eagles burn their first time out.
That time, instead of the out route, they run a stop route right along the sidelines. Ball thrown exactly where it needs to be.
I'm out.
So 37 seconds to play in the half. They've got the ball at the 40. Realistically, they only need 10 more yards to be in field goal range for Tyler Bass, who had a career-long 46-yarder against Troy and has hit 5 straight.
In situations like this, I always feel like you take a shot down the middle of the field because it's going to be there for you. The defense is playing on the outside, knowing that you want to get the ball outside, get the ball out of bounds. There's some room inside the hash marks, and you got plenty of timeouts, and in college football, as we know, every first down the clock will stop. So I would take a really good look of getting a tight end down the middle, a guy like Ellis Richardson, or maybe a back like L.A. Ransby or even Wesley Fields down the middle of the field, and see if I can pop one for 25, 30 yards and get in position to get a score of a touchdown and not just a field goal.
How about this? 1:29 to play in the half. ULM has a 28-17 lead on App State.
Wow.
In Monroe, Louisiana this afternoon. App one of 2 remaining unbeatens, thrown complete to Henry. And Henry down to the 34-yard line, and the Eagles will use their second timeout.
Again, Henry came in with 4 catches.
Timeout, Georgia Southern. Second charge timeout.
And he's got 4 today. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, they felt like, Brian Cook told us they felt like there was going to be some things in the passing game for them this week, more than they'd seen in the entire last month. And Shai Werts has impressed. I think there were people out there, maybe I might have been even one of them, didn't know whether the kid could pass or not.
Right.
But he's been very accurate and consistent, especially being able to throw on the run.
If you'd have told me there would have been this many throws in the first half, I would have thought Cato Brown was doing the throwing.
Yeah.
And so, like, with you, I'm impressed as well. The kid is getting better, and you see this a lot with true freshmen. Sometimes the light bulb just turns on. You got young players who just don't have a lot of experience, haven't gotten a lot of snaps. Everything is new to them every single week. At some point, that light bulb turns on, and maybe this is the beginning of that right now for this young man.
Werts on a play action with the pocket, fires, and incomplete. DeAndre Glenn was his target right there, and now it's going to be 3rd down and 4 with 26 seconds to play in the half. They have 1 timeout remaining, which I'm guessing they're holding in their pocket for a field goal attempt if they throw in the middle of the field.
There's no question, and if the young man, Werts, would have looked to his right, he would have saw a wide open Wesley Fields in the flat, and it appeared to be a mile between he and James Taylor, the nearest defender.
I would take that matchup in open space with a chance to get out of bounds any day. Again, that's something he'll learn to go through those progressions.
Eagles have more passing yards than rushing yards, 89-83 right now, and another pass completion to Wesley Fields. He gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line, but he's short of the first down.
Out route again. And what you got to do is you got to run that route beyond the sticks, though. You got to take an extra step, run that beyond the sticks, so that same completed pass gets you a first down instead of a fourth down situation.
Tyler Bass is going to attempt a career-long 48-yard attempt here. He's hit 5 straight and 7 of his last 8. He's kicking from the left hash. And for the Eagles lead right before halftime. Bass, kick is on its way, and the kick is gonna be good. Career-long 48-yarder for Tyler Bass. Pumps it through the uprights, and Georgia Southern has their first lead of the day.
And it all started with the great punt return, right?
Yep.
I mean, the punt return set up the entire drive. I guarantee you they were going to be content had that ball been on the opposite side of the 40. They'd have been content to run this clock out and go in 7-7, but the big punt return sets him up. A couple excellent throws by Wirtz. Malik Henry takes over the entire drive and doubles up his catches for the season, and that results in a nice kick by Mr. Tyler Bass.
Yeah, the Eagles have had some kickers now the last couple of years. Tyler Bass following in the footsteps of Younghoe Koo, who was a third-team All-American a year ago, finalist for the Lou Groza Award, and now a rookie with the L.A. Chargers. And Tyler Bass holding his own here. 6 straight now. 8 of his last 9. He's now 9 for 12 on the season. Just booted a career-long 48-yarder to put the Eagles in front here with 15 seconds left in the half.
I don't make a living tipping my cap to kickers, but those stats there, that deserves a wow.
Yep. I know how you DNs are. You love them as long as they make them.
That's right. Otherwise, I don't want to hear from them.
Otherwise, don't talk to them.
That's right.
Talk to the hand. Kick bounces over Glenn Smith's head and through the back of the end zone, and there's a flag down.
Yeah, it's an area of offsides. Offsides by that kicking team.
Offside, kicking team. Number 16, 5 yards, free kick.
So the Panthers will make them do it over here.
Why not?
Offside 17, correction number 17.
Generally, re-kicks go in the favor of the receiving team, so definitely re-kick it. You never know. Pop a long run for yourself, or either a touchdown, or set yourself something up for a long field goal to try to tie the ball game before the clock's going to hit 0.
Well, I think Sean Elliott, Georgia State's coach, certainly factored in the impact of the rivalry here against an 0-7 team. He's been down that road himself on the other side just 2 years ago. Do you think the Panthers team, as in the players, have not factored in the impact and how big this game is for the 0-7 Eagles?
Well, it certainly looks like they're playing that way. I mean, talent-wise, the teams are not that far apart, but in terms of execution, they were just playing a lot better than the home team coming into this game. And so far today, you can't tell who the winless team is.
And Tyler Bass, despite the fact they back it up 5 yards, still gets another touchback.
Right. But I don't understand why the receiver just didn't catch the ball and try something there. I mean, he lets it go out of bounds, and I'd catch that thing and see if I can pop a run.
Yep. Especially with only 15 seconds left in the half.
Yeah. Go make a play for the team. Glenn Smith. I mean, Glenn Smith is excellent.
Sean Elliott might be peeling some paint in the locker room, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think just, again, letting that ball hit the end zone just shows a mentality, the lack of competitive greatness that they've shown in this first half. Again, Glenn Smith, he's got a 90-yard kickoff return against Coastal for a touchdown. Why not catch that ball and pop one? I'm not sure if they got off the bus ready to play, and because of that, they're in a dogfight.
Well, there's no doubt Georgia Southern came to play looking for their first win of the season. They're going to head into the locker room with a 10-7 lead in the 4th all-time meeting between these two, if you will, modern-day hate rivals. There you go. 174 yards of offense for the Eagles and stopped the presses. They threw more than they ran in the first half. 10-7 lead for Georgia Southern as we head to the break.
Welcome to the Capital One Halftime Report.
Welcome back to Statesboro. We're at halftime with Georgia Southern leading Georgia State 10-7. Be sure to stick around. Special guest going to join us in the booth when we come back. Georgia Southern men's basketball coach Mark Byington. That's coming up right after the break as the Capital One halftime show continues from Welcome back. It is halftime. Georgia Southern with the 10-7 lead on the Georgia State Panthers. Welcome back to the Capital One halftime report. We're joined here at halftime by the head coach of the Eagles men's basketball team, Mark Byington. And Mark, thanks a lot for being with us. Season tips off next Friday night. You'll be at Wake Forest. You guys picked fourth in the conference. Tell me what you feel about your team as you get ready to tip things off.
Well, really excited about this bunch. For the first time in a couple of years, we have seniors, and I have two special guys that were first-team all-conference as sophomores last year, and Tukey Brown and Ike Smith. And I got a veteran group, and they've been great to coach so far. So we've had some good exhibition wins and good preseason practices. So it gets for real next Friday.
You mentioned Tukey Brown and those guys and Hughes. And what's the difference coaching those guys now that they've been in the program a couple of years? Does that speed up the process and the things that you can cover in preseason practice?
Well, that's what's been great this year. Is in the past I've had to motivate guys in different ways and push them and kind of be, the leader and the cheerleader on the team. And this year those guys are taking ownership. Tukey Brown is just completely different now than he was as a freshman. Mike Hughes started for 4 years, going to be started for 4 years, and so what he knows is extremely valuable. And Ike Smith's so talented, and other guys are coming on, Monte Glenn, and had two guys sitting out, and Jared Hamilton and Quan Jackson. So we're going to be deep, and so it's a long, long journey, but you just kind of want to get going, and I think everybody's excited, a little bit antsy right now.
Do you think the word is out finally that the Sun Belt is one heck of a tough mid-major conference? Troy won the championship last year. UT Arlington's picked to win it this year. You guys are picked to finish fourth. You've been in the final. Of course, Georgia State is there as well, and you can't forget about Texas State. They always seem to end up somewhere in the mix when you get to the tournament.
The conference doesn't get the respect it deserves. It's extremely talented conference, well coached. When people come watch the games, they're blown away by the athleticism and the style of play because every team has a unique style of play that's fun to watch. So it's not fun coaching in, but every night's a challenge. And, I think this year you'll start seeing the league get a little more respect. It should be a top 10 league in the country. So it's going to be fun every night, challenging every night. I think there's 5 or 6 teams have a chance to win it. And good thing is I think we're one of those 5 or 6 teams.
What do you guys have to do to be that team that does win it out of that 5 or 6?
Well, we've always been talented on offense with the guys we've had, but I think the biggest improvement we've made is on defense. And to win tournament games, win games on the road, we got to be much better on defense and rebounding. And usually older guys get that. And younger guys, they just want to score. But now I have some juniors and seniors. I think they've understood the message much more.
With the football team, it's been a tough year. They're winning here today, and that's a good thing for the Eagles. And Chad Lunsford, interim coach, you kind of went through a similar thing with yourself early in your career when you were at college at Charleston, and Bobby Crimmins stepped away. Any advice for Chad in a difficult situation like that?
Yeah, so I grabbed Chad, and I said, I've been in those shoes.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Similar to him, when I took over after Coach Crimmins, we were 2-8. And when guys were sick, guys were hurt. And I remember the one thing I tried to do is I walked in the locker room. I wanted guys to have fun again. And then I tried to tell myself to have fun going through that experience. And that was my only advice to Chad. Just let the guys have fun. Let them play for each other. You have fun. You enjoy it. And then let everything fall where it's supposed to fall.
Well, it's more fun when you're winning, right?
It's definitely more fun when you're winning. Yeah,
no doubt about
it. Yeah, don't feel too much pressure. And, I know the guys on the team really like them. They're playing hard for them. So, hopefully we get a good result today.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Good luck
Matt.
Against Wake Forest, and see you down the line during the basketball season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mark Byington, head coach of the Eagles men's basketball team. They open next week at Wake Forest. It's halftime here in Statesboro with the Eagles leading Georgia State by a score of 10-7.
Welcome back to the Capital One Halftime Report.
Let's take a look at this play that may have an impact on your Capital One fan vote.
Sony the shot off to the races. Not gonna kill him. 36-yard touchdown. So much for struggling with the run.
Don't forget to go to ESPN.com or the SportsCenter Facebook page on Tuesday to give your Capital One fan vote.
Larry, you got to get those burgers off the grill.
Doug Flutie? Who threw the Hail Larry?
You mean a Hail Mary?
Tomato potato, man.
Those are two different words.
Let's go, Dr. Pepperhead. Let's go.
And let's take a look at today's campus moment. It is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. An enthusiastic Georgia Southern fan as the Eagles have a 10-7 lead here at halftime. Matt Stewart along with Tyoka Jackson as we take a look at the first half highlights. And things started very poorly for Georgia Southern on their very first snap. The pass to the edge, the fumble, scoop and score by Chandon Sullivan.
Yeah, and they were able to somehow overcome that adversity because that was as bad as it got adversity-wise. I mean, you're 0-7 the first play of the game, you give up 7 points. That was looking down the barrel, and it was really dark.
It was, but the Eagles responded with a positive 17-play, 80-yard drive. Big scramble by Shai Werts, trapped inside his own 5, picked up a first down at the 31.
Yeah, that was the catalyst right there, but you know, that living by that third and long came up biting them later in the game, but not in this first drive. They did a great job executing. The offensive line got revved up, dominated the line of scrimmage, and that put them in the end zone.
Miles Campbell took it in. That was officially a pass, and then with just 21 seconds left in the half, Tyler Bass with a career-long 48-yard kick, and the Eagles with the lead. And folks, that's not a misprint. The Eagles actually do have more yards passing in the first half than they do rushing.
Not only that, they have more yards passing than the entire team of Georgia State has total offense, which is absolutely crazy. So I expect Georgia State to come out in the second half, become who they really are as a passing team. They got to get the football to Penny Hart first and foremost and get themselves revved up. If you're Georgia Southern, just keep doing exactly what you're doing. No more penalties, no more turnovers, and you're going to be in this game till the end.
So my question to you, is this about the Georgia State offense and their ineffectiveness, or is this about something that Georgia Southern is doing defensively, or maybe a combination of both?
Well, I think it's about the defense. I think Georgia Southern has come out and decided they're going to take Penny Hart out of the ball game. He's only got one catch for 11 yards. They decided to double team him, give him safety help over the top, and that's been very effective in this football game.
And Glenn Smith bobbles the kick about a yard deep in the end zone. I don't know that he would have returned that or not, but certainly after the bobble, there was no chance at that. And so the Panthers will start on offense at their own 25-yard line, simply unable to get anything going just yet. We'll see if the third quarter brings a different story for Georgia State. But any way you slice it, I think you got to be pleased if you are the Georgia Southern Eagles at that first half of action. It's been a while since they were actually in a ball game at the break. They've been giving up an average of 28 points in the first half. Passes thrown complete, and that's going to be the second catch of the day for Roger Carter.
Yeah, we didn't have Carter on our 2D depth chart, and Carter's come up big so far today.
So 1st and 10 from the 37. Manning back to pass again. Going to dump it off to Glenn Smith. Got some space out here. De La Rosa got his hands on him, and that slowed him down just in time for Vildor, the corner, to come up and make the tackle.
And see, that's a tough cover for the leading tackler, De La Rosa. As you see Manning going through his progression and knows his outlet is just a swing pass to the outside, and De La Rosa has to come in and make a play in space, and he's more of an in-box linebacker. That's just a tough assignment to have to come out and try to make a play on Glenn Smith, who's one of the better all-purpose backs in the Sun Belt.
Hart goes in motion. That's a little toss pass to Hart. They try to get his hands on the ball any way they can, and Hart picks up the first down across the 50-yard line. That's the exact same play the Eagles scored their touchdown on.
It is, and this is how I suspected they would get the ball to 18. You're going to have to move them around. They're deciding they're going to take them away out of the passing game downfield, move them around, put them in the backfield, have them come on reverses, move them in motion. Those are the things that can get him away from this bracketing, double-teaming defense.
And I was going to say that because maybe put him in the backfield, try to get him matched up one-on-one with a linebacker.
And the good thing is, Travis Trickett, he's done it all season, so this is not something new for them. They'll come up with some solution, trust me.
1st and 10 from the 48. Handoff goes to Glenn Smith, and Glenn Smith nearly broke out of there after Raymond Johnson got there to make the tackle. Raymond Johnson, the freshman out of Sumter, South Carolina. A lot to like about him, isn't there?
Yeah, he's a good football player, being just a freshman, just a kid, just a teenager. He's going to get a lot better. He's going to get bigger and stronger. Wait till he goes through an entire offseason of workouts and learning the defense. He'll be that much better come back sophomore year.
They're going to toss it back to Gentry. A double toss back to Manning. Throws downfield and caught by Carter, the tight end. So some trickeration there by the Georgia State Panthers to pick up the first down at the 37-yard line. They'll spot it at the 30, pardon me.
And Roger Carter is the early MVP for the guys in white. Just a great job of holding on to football and excellent concentration as he takes the big hit and holds on to it. That's what you're looking for.
That's the 3rd catch of the game for Roger Carter, who had only 1 catch for the entire season coming into the afternoon.
Haven't seen number 88, their outstanding tight end, Ari Wirtz.
Yeah, you're right. Ari Wirtz, who has 14 catches on the year and leads the team with a 16.6 yards per catch average, so he might be hurt. We'll try to get an update on his situation. Manning. Pocket collapses. Helmet comes off. He'll have to come off the field. Trevor Vleem with the quarterback sack. That's the 3rd sack of the day for this Eagles defense.
Vleem, just a redshirt freshman himself. I saw him a couple weeks ago have a great game, and he continues to get better and better. And what you saw there was a coverage sack. But in order for it to be a coverage sack, the rush has to show up at the end of that coverage, and that's exactly what happened. Great team defense by Georgia Southern.
So Aaron Winchester comes in at quarterback because Manning's got to come off for at least 1 snap. Winchester going to keep it and run it right up the middle. Tamarcio Reese gives him a bear hug and stops him at the 32.
Tough situation for Winchester. Not even warmed up, no sweat broken. Got to come in and run the football in a hostile environment when your team's down.
Yeah, and you run right into the arms of Tamarcio Reese at 5'11", 220. A big thumper here for this Eagles defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3rd down and long.
You don't want to make a career running into that guy. That guy comes with a lot of bad intention every time he makes contact. You see him running his feet. He knows what to do when he makes contact. Run through the tackle, which you do, number 33.
3rd down and 12. Manning back on the field.
0 for 6 and 3rd down in this game, which is highly, highly irregular for this offense. Let's see if they can get on track now.
They're the number 1 team in the conference coming into the game at 47%, and a whistle. Was a timeout called?
It was.
Yep, the Panthers have to burn one here. So we'll take it with them. 11:26 to play in this 3rd quarter. Panthers driving for what they hope is their first offensive touchdown of the day. Early third quarter timeout called by Georgia State with the big third down coming up. The big story has been the Eagles and being able to shut down Penny Hart. Tioka, what have they been doing?
Yeah, the bracketing of Penny Hart has been a big part of it. This is just one example. It's been happening all day, but here's one example where they've gotten hands on the guy and they've got him underneath and over the top. Now, there's a little bit of legal chucking right there. It's after 5 yards. No harm, no foul. But that's what they're doing. They're trying to take him out of the ball game. You got to move him around. You got to put him in motion. That takes him away from that physical bracketing defense. You can get him in space and get the ball to him. Let's see if they can do that on third down.
Hart has only 2 catches for 23 yards. He averages 96 yards per game. Manning has Neal out there, and Neal can't bring it in. Poor pass by Manning. Kyler Neal was wide open with nothing but grass in front of him, and he threw a poor pass to him.
He did everything right. They bracketed Hart again, which left a tremendous void in the outside of the defense. You got a senior wide open in a flat. Just do what you normally do. Connor, don't get too worried. Don't get too nervous. I think the lack of success has gotten his head a little bit. Just calm down and be the accurate thrower you are. That's an easy first down if he throws that into the belly of Kyler Neal.
4th and 12 from the 32. They've had problems in their kicking game with Brandon Wright, so they're going for it here. Not a surprise. Manning fires, and it's caught for a first down. Penny Hart at the 15-yard line. Nicely done.
So you go 0 for 7 on third down. Now it's fourth down, and you've been excellent on fourth down too as a team, Georgia State. Over 50% on fourth down. Picked up the blitz. Now you got man coverage. Still bracketed over the top. He gets between the underneath coverage and the over the top coverage. The ball is low and away where it needs to be. Hart goes and gets it.
Glenn Smith trying to get to the edge with a cut back into the middle. Picked up a couple of yards right there. Murray, the safety, came up to help out Johnson on the tackle, and it's going to be second down.
So they decided to blitz, and that really was the problem there. I think if Georgia Southern stays with the zone coverage and continue to bracket and double cover number 18, they'll have a great chance. If you're Georgia State and you're Travis Trickett, you got to figure out creative ways to get the ball in that man's hands because he is your playmaker. He's the one that got you here. You better dance with him.
Quick rest for Penny Hart. You see him step right back on the field at the top of your screen. Second down. Play action. Manning going to step up in the pocket and run. Manning dives down to the 8-yard line.
Much like his namesake in the NFL, the retired great Peyton Manning, who I played against many times, you don't need to be a great athlete to be great in the pocket. He just has great pocket presence. Just slide up. He climbed the pocket, so avoiding the defense, and took himself an easy 5 yards. Don't got to be Michael Vick to be a threat to run it. Just got to be smart in the pocket, feel the rush, and go where the void is.
Cool hand Connor. Like Coach Sean Elliott said, he doesn't get rattled. It's third down.
Going empty.
Pass, touchdown, Glenn Smith, and a flag down at the 7-yard line. We'll check that.
Now, this is high alert for a pick here now. He went with a nice scissors route on the outside. You got man coverage, which is
Pass interference, offense, number 6. 15
exactly
yards.
what you were talking about right
Third
there.
down.
Jonathan Ifedi, number 6.
Yeah, the offense will call it a rub route and say, hey, there's no penalty there. The defense will call it a pick, which is illegal, where the offensive player runs into and effectively blocks downfield the defensive player, but trying to mimic a route.
Right.
And you're forcing the official to make a decision. Was he really running a route, or was he just going to block the guy who had coverage on the back? And that time, clearly, he didn't do it good enough to make it disguised. We'll see if we can see it at the top of the screen. Look at the inside receiver. See that running outside? I think that's a pretty good route.
Wow,
now.
that's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think that should have been called. And I'm a defensive guy. You know that. I'm all for the
Yeah.
defense. That should be a touchdown.
That's a tough call against the Panthers right there. A 15-yard mark-off. They take points off the board. Manning fires, and it's caught by Penny Hart. Keeps his knee off the ground, or are they going to say his knee did hit the ground at the 15-yard line? And they'll spot it right there. I thought that he had been able to keep his hand on the ground and not hit the ground, but we're told that his knee did hit the ground. Yep, right there. Good call, 15-yard line.
And Hart was open. There's no question about that. You got to get him the football, but if you're Travis Trickett, you got to let Connor Manning know there are guys wide open on the other side of Hart. He's commanding so much attention. Right there, you had Kyler Neal again, completely wide open and flat.
blown coverage, or just completely ignored him, one or the other. He was wide open. Just look for Georgia State to come back and hit the others.
32-yard kick is on its way, and it's no good. He pushed it right. And Brandon Wright has missed his last 4 attempts in a row. And the Panthers' struggles in the kicking game continue. Wright is now just 4 of 12 for the season. Panthers get no points out of this possession after, Tayoka, what you call a controversial pick call here.
Yeah, I think the officials made an error here. You've got to let Jonathan Ifedi run this route outside. Watch the outside release by the inside receiver. That is not blocking. He's just running through. Now, certainly he would love to slow that and impede that DB a little bit, but you got to allow him to run that route outside. That should be a touchdown for the Georgia State Panthers. I think there was just a bad call by the guys in striped shirts.
Meantime, back to action for the Eagles, and Shai Wert's going to run the ball up to the 25-yard line. And, of course, after that penalty that took the touchdown off the board, the Eagles had a 32-yard field goal miss by Brandon Wright, and so they still trail 10-7, and now the Eagles go back on offense. And you know this Eagles team, what they can do offensively, the Panthers might not get it back to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is how they're built. They're built to run clock, possess the football, shorten the game. We had a very quick first half. They're going to try to make it a very quick second half as well.
Toss goes to Campbell. They've been effective with that play here today, and Campbell trying to get around the edge, gets hammered out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Allen is over there to make the tackle along with Middleton.
Big hit along the sidelines, but this is how they got those passing yards that we talked about, having more passing yards than rush yards. That's really a running play. I mean, no matter how that's blocked like a running play. The outside receivers are blocking, but because that ball is sort of pushed forward, it goes down in the books as a pass play. It looks good for the receiver. It looks good for the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, to be honest with you.
9th first down for Georgia Southern. The Panthers have only 17 total first downs in this game. Handoff goes to Fields, and Fields just tries to move the pile, and he ends up picking up about 5 yards on the snap.
The Panthers' defensive line have got to decide they're going to take this football game over, because that's the way they can get control of the game. If you allow Georgia Southern to get positive first down yards, you're playing into their identity. This is what they want to do. They don't want to throw the football ever if they can help it. They want the lead in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. They want to run the football, get positive yards on first down so they can have third and short.
That said, they have more passing yards today than running yards, 98-93. Fields takes the toss. Fields across the 50 and finally out of bounds. Let's see where they spot that. It's going to be 2 yards beyond that 50-yard line. Actually 3. They'll spot it at the 47.
The Georgia Southern fans know that's our offense. Running the option, well blocked on the outside by all the receivers. If you play wide receiver for Georgia Southern, you're going to block people on the outside. L.A. Ramsey did a great job lining up in that slot and blocking someone, and Fields knows what to do with it when he gets the pitch in that alley.
And a big man down for the Panthers right now at the 49-yard line. And then Martirius Allen, their defensive end, tied a program record with 3 quarterback sacks in that victory at ULM 3 weeks ago and was named the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week.
You should be when you get 3 sacks in one game. I mean, that's a tremendous effort.
So they get him off the field. And let's see who comes in for him. Probably Malik Ricks, number 32.
Give up some size with Ricks. He's 6'1", 240. And Martirius, 6'2", 270.
Yep.
And, that 3-down defensive end. Usually those are bigger defensive ends. You like to see a lot more size because they're going to get double teamed because they line them up so tight to the offensive tackle. With a guard, they can get an easy hand on him as well.
Allen taking some time getting off the field, but nobody's rushing the big fella. Take your time. 1st and 10, ball at the 47. Wirtz on a toss to Monteo Garrett. And Garrett tackled by the aforementioned Ricks at the 40-yard line as Garrett got 7 on the play.
Garrett is a big play threat. They don't give it to him a lot, but he really is a speed guy for them. And if they get him in a crease, he can really exploit it. He's a fast guy. He also catches the football pretty well in the backfield. Averaging 10 yards a carry, 16 carries, 160 yards coming into this game.
Quarterback at Munford High School in Talladega, Alabama. In fact, a quarterback his first 3 years in this Georgia Southern program until they switched him to running back this fall. Handoff goes to Fields. They're going to toss it back to Malik Henry. He nearly lost it, got a handle on it, and still is able to get positive yards out of that. Shaw finally tripped him up, and Payne came over and finished him off along with Middleton, but that had disaster written all over it. Malik Henry did a good job of saving their bacon.
He really did. I mean, because he could have panicked, and that thing could have been just out the gate again, but give him credit for keeping his head, getting the ball, and getting upfield. Henry's played really well. I've been impressed with how he showed up both with routes and also how tough he's run the football when he's gotten his hands on it.
4 catches today for Henry, and that was his first rush. And the handoff goes to L.A. Ramsby for the first down.
And remember we saw L.A. stutter a little earlier? That's L.A. Ramsby game right there. That's the Ramsby I've been watching for the last 3 years. He's got a really good power speed mix, but when he gets his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and runs behind those pads, he's a very effective football player.
1st and 10 from the 30. Ramsby gets the rock again, and this time Wilson, the freshman, going to drop him at the line of scrimmage. Might have actually lost about a half yard on that play. As the clock continues to run, it'll be under 5 minutes when they snap the ball again.
That's what they want, but excellent play by Wilson. One of 6 true freshmen contributing for this Panther team. They've got a lot of young guys. They're going to be really good as the years pile up in this program, but he's a good-looking freshman inside.
Yeah, Coach Elliott said, man, I'm watching the film, and this guy's getting 2 or 3 tackles on only 12 reps per game. I told my coaching staff, this guy's got to play some more. 2nd down and 10. Wirtz scrambling. Going to get away from the rush. Got a block downfield from Campbell. Gets dropped by Jerome Smith, the corner, at the 24-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 3.
As an ex-defensive lineman, this stuff right here gives you the chills. You don't like to see athletes like that with space and being chased by big guys. They got no chance. And when you got Miles Campbell throwing blocks downfield for his quarterback to give him extra yards, you know that this offense is in a really nice rhythm.
Ty, Miles Campbell is 5'6", 165.
Yeah, but he has some toughness. I mean, you have to have toughness on the outside to play in this offense, as I said before.
3rd down, that's Garrett in motion. They're going to hand off to Ramsby instead, and Ramsby not going to get there. Payne, the linebacker, got the penetration. Let's see what the Eagles do here. Do you go for a field goal, or do you go for the 4th down conversion?
This is decision time, and they're taking their time to make it. I like the momentum. I think you go for it here. Your backs are running hard. Your offensive line is in a really big war up front. They're starting to lose as many as they win, unlike their first half where they were dominated, but put it on them again.
Wirtz going to toss to Garrett. Got some blockers. Got the first down. Monteo Garrett hurdled the defender out of bounds at the 11-yard line. That is the 11th 4th down the Eagles have converted this season. That is more than any other team in the Sun Belt.
If this is the first time you watched the Georgia Southern Eagles play, you wouldn't think that they're 0-7. Running the football on 3rd and 4th down is who they are. That's their identity. This program is built for that. And so why not do what you are supposed to do? Remake your identity 7 games in and say, you know what, guys, forget about the first 7 losses. We're going to play Eagle football from this day forward, and so far, so good.
Remy Lazarus, a backup safety on the ground at the 22-yard line. And I don't think there's any question the Eagles have been more physical at the line of scrimmage. They're winning that line of scrimmage, especially on the offensive side. I think having Tommy Boynton back this week has really helped them there.
I haven't seen him play this physical up front. You've seen him more than I have, but what do you think? Is this the most physical this offensive line has been all year?
Well, it's the most confident they've been all year.
Yeah.
And Coach Lunford said getting Boynton back would really help because, the offensive line, as you know, has to play as one unit. When you got one guy out, it's hard for them to get consistent and gel.
That's right.
When you get all the pieces back, you start to gather some consistency. And I think the Eagles have seen that here today.
As much as I hate offensive linemen, big men playing together like dancing bears is really a beautiful thing to watch.
Let's hold hands and say kumbaya.
What's this now? They shift to go unbalanced. Look out for a trick play here.
No, Wirtz going to throw it, complete the Fields inside the 10. Couldn't keep his balance and steps out of bounds at the 7.
Wirtz would like to have that throw back. The inaccurate throw forced the jump, forced the off balance, and forced the out of bounds. This is just a simple fake toss, naked bootleg. And, man, if he throws that in the belly,
he could run it into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, he could make one guy break one tackle and score.
2nd down and 5. Clock under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. I was not kidding when I said Panthers might not get the ball back until the 4th. Toss goes to Kennedy. Kennedy down to the 4-yard line. Like seeing that kid get some run. That's his 2nd carry of the day, his first 2 of the season.
He's running hard, but what a play by Jerome Smith to come up and set the edge and get the tackle. He played off the low block and got his hands on the young Kennedy and really got him on the ground. If he wasn't for him getting penetration early on that corner, playing off the block, that would have been a touchdown there.
3rd down and 1. Ball inside the 5. Ramsby the back. Bobbled by Wirtz, picks it up, and he's going to be dropped at the 1. Or they're going to say his knee hit the ground. So now a big decision here because it's going to be 4th down and 3 from the 5. Do you take the 3?
That knee barely touched, but it probably did. That the officials had a better look than I did, and yeah, this is a tough decision.
I think they'll call a timeout and think about it. And they will. With 1:42 to play in the quarter.
Georgia Southern.
A big
30
4th
seconds.
down coming up
Timeout.
for the Eagles. Do you kick or do you go for it? We'll find out when we get back. Decision time, Tioka. Do you kick or go for it?
You got to go. You're 0-7. I mean, it's not like you're protecting a bowl eligibility situation or anything like that. Look, you go. You're at home. You got your rival. You got recruiting on the line. You go for it, try to score, and change it to make it a 2-possession ball game.
I'm with you, brother. I mean, exactly. You kick it here and make it, you're still one bad play away from being behind.
That's right. And even if you don't get it, as you said before, if you don't get it, you got to put trust in the defense. They've been playing well all day. Put it on them if you don't get it.
4th and 3 from the 5. Keeper, Wirtz, gonna get there and score! Shai Wirtz just put Georgia Southern up by 9.
Option football depends on the decision maker, and that's the quarterback. Keeps the ball here, and he has to decide whether to pitch it or throw it. Does a great job of dipping inside to contain defender, and downfield blocking allows him to work back to the outside and score. We talked about him being an excellent athlete, having quickness and athleticism at the open. He's showing it off all day today. Great play.
Bass with the PAT, and the Eagles have a 10-point lead, 17-7. So you get the points, and now you put the pressure squarely on a Georgia State offense that has been able to muster just 152 yards against your defense today and only 6 yards on the ground.
And remember, as you said, you called it. They may not get the ball back. Well, they're getting it back. It was only a minute 37. Yep. So not only do you have to score if you're Georgia State, but you got to score relatively quickly to have a chance to get it again and score again. So I'm really impressed by number 4. And this is the most confident I've seen him. He's growing up. He's not the same quarterback I saw earlier in the season, and that bodes well for the future of this Georgia Southern Eagle entire program.
Yeah, you make a great point here, because when you get in a ball game with Georgia Southern, the possessions shrink. So you score, and you're thinking, oh, well, if you're a Georgia State fan, we're only down 10, and we still have 16 minutes left in this game. Well, you score, Eagles might not give you the ball back for another 8 minutes.
That's right.
And they might not even score, but they might just hold the ball for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the danger of falling behind Georgia Southern. The problem for Georgia Southern this year is they haven't been in this position all year.
No.
They've always been playing from behind.
Right.
But when they get a lead, they become especially dangerous.
And listen to the crowd. They're getting into it as well. And then everything you just said, mixing also the uncertainty of a lack of kicking game for Georgia State. That's in the back of the mind of Travis Trickett as he begins to call plays, because he knows he cannot rely on the security blanket of just kicking a field goal and making it a one-position game.
Another Bass touchback. Let's take a look at the Sun Belt scoreboard here. Of course, earlier in the week on Thursday night, Troy was a winner over Idaho. That was the first game of the week. App State has come back to take the lead on ULM 31-28. How about Coastal at Arkansas today, tied up with the Razorbacks in the second quarter? New Mexico State a 3-point lead on Texas State. And Louisiana a 16-point lead at South Alabama in the second quarter.
I'm just telling you, if Coastal pulls off that upset at Arkansas, Bielema is going to need security.
They'll be calling more than the Hogs. They'll be calling the moving van. 1st and 10, ball at the 25. Manning back to pass, downfield. It's caught in stride. There goes Penny Hart, caught at the 5-yard line.
You can only keep him down but so long, folks. The guy's a great football player, and he got a trigger man who throws accurate deep balls. How about that for getting the guy in stride, right? I mean, how many times you see college quarterbacks overthrow or underthrow that ball, and it's either incomplete or they fall down as they're making the catch? What a great execution, Penny Hart. Good job of Georgia Southern continuing to play and run him down, though.
1st and goal from the 5. Glenn Smith gets the rock, and Glenn Smith not going to get much running room. There was big old Raymond Johnson there to help blow up that play.
Now, it's taken a while, but remember my keys early on. I talked about Georgia Southern having to play great red zone defense and force Georgia State to kick field goals. Let's see if they can keep them out of the end zone and force a decision to be made, because we know the field goal issue has been big in this ball game for the team in white.
That 70-yard catch was the longest catch of Penny Hart's career. 2nd down and goal from the 4. Remember, the Georgia State offense has not scored today.
Right.
That one touchdown came from Chandon Sullivan on defense, a scoop and score.
And this is as explosive an offense as there is in the Sun Belt.
Manning rolling to his left and firing, and it's caught by the tight end. How about the freshman Roger Carter having a breakout day? Ari Wirtz left the game early with an injury, and Roger Carter has said, thank you very much.
Next man up, right? Just run a sprint out, and you got 2 slants. And we talked about earlier the little bit of a pick play. This is sort of a pick-ish type route. So we get 2 slants on the outside. The third receiver comes from inside out, fills the void. The ball comes out on time. He catches it with a nice job of hand catching and getting in the end zone. Excellent execution. And this is why you go for it if you're Georgia Southern, because of this type of drive right here.
Exactly. Had you not gone for it, had you gone for the 3, you'd be down now 14-13. As it is, Georgia Southern's lead got cut to 17-14. And the big play was the 70-yard pass to Hart.
That's right. And Manning is showing his versatility as a thrower. He's now throwing it on the move, which we know Wirtz is good at. But those 2 outside receivers sort of clears it out for the young tight end, Roger, to go outside and make the catch. And, boy, Carter's having a tremendous day. He'll remember this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Carter came into the day, 1 catch for 6 yards here in his freshman season out of Blythewood High School in Columbia, South Carolina. Well, today he's got 4 catches for 42 and the touchdown that gets his team back in the ball game here late in the 3rd quarter.
Roger Carter, I had no idea who you were coming in today, but guess what? I know who you are now, young fella. You are balling.
So, that was a big answer by the Panthers right there, I think, because you didn't want to go into the 4th quarter down 10 points. You didn't have to, obviously, and get into a situation where you're starting to look at the clock. Now you put the ball game back in a place where you can manage it offensively and defensively. You back in the game with a chance to win it.
True, and it's going to come down to what it's been all day. Can the offensive line of Georgia Southern continue to dominate the line of scrimmage and get positive yards on 1st and 2nd down?
Miles Campbell will get a chance to return this one from the 6. And Campbell hops over Lazarus and then falls flat on his face. Lazarus, who had come off the field just a few moments ago with an injury, back out there on the special teams and makes a fine tackle. So that's where the Eagles put it in play with 22 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Now, if you are Georgia State, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get spread option. I would love to see Brian Cook continue to mix in some early 1st down throws, though. That has been just enough to keep this defense honest. Let's see if we see it again on this drive. Haven't called Brian Williams' name a lot. We talked about him being an integral part of what's going to happen with the alley plays, coming up and making a play on the pitch and on the quarterback. Let's see if he can now begin to step up as this defense needs to get the ball back.
Wirtz, play blown dead at the 20-yard line. Looked like they were going to take it downfield.
I'll start. Offense. 11. We're not set. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
I see that's inexcusable. Pre-snap penalties by the offense is really inexcusable because they're not forced. You know what the snap count is. Hold your water, stay in there, and wait for the ball to be snapped.
1st and 15.
For play action again.
Campbell in motion. He's the pitch man here. Wirt's going to keep it instead, and Wirt's going to go down at the 20-yard line. Submarine tackle made by the corner, Jerome Smith.
And see, that penalty really hurt because they were going play action. We talked about throwing the football early in the drive to catch the defense off balance, and that was going to be a play pass until the penalty happened. Now that changes the whole complexion of the drive. Brian Cook has to change the call. Let's see if they continues these early penalties bite them in the foot.
That is the end of the third quarter. This big rivalry game, just the 4th all-time meeting between these two rivals who have become pretty bitter in a short period of time. We'll head to the 4th quarter. Georgia Southern trying to pull out their first win of the season and derail Georgia State's championship hopes. It's 17-14 as we head to the 3rd quarter at Paulson Stadium in Statesboro.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
Start of the 4th quarter, Georgia Southern leading Georgia State 17-14. Matt Stewart along with Tyoka Jackson. Ty, what wins this game in the 4th quarter for either one of these teams?
Yeah, this is going to be about mental toughness and competitive greatness. The mental toughness to execute when the game is tight, and the competitive greatness to make a play when your number's called.
Wirtz on a play action. Has Campbell out there on the edge, fires to him, stutter steps, and was able to squeeze by Payne, but he ran out of real estate. Out of bounds, it's going to be 3rd down.
Toughness is in football. People think about physical toughness. Can I go act like a tough guy, pound my chest, and hit somebody hard? Well, hard hitting is important, yes, but mentally tough football teams execute in the most important times of the ball game. And part of execution is not getting penalties. 7 penalties for 72 yards for Georgia Southern. We talked about how that's been a problem all season long. Can they eliminate now in the 4th quarter and try to win this ball game?
3rd down and long. Play action again. Heavy rush. Wirtz gets away, but not from the defender behind him. Nice play by Victor Hayward, the freshman linebacker in there. Getting some important time here today. Ran him down from behind.
There's the competitive greatness. Hayward decides he's going to continue to play and not let this athletic quarterback beat him with a scramble. What great hustle from behind by Hayward. And again, 3rd and long is a recipe for disaster for the guys in navy blue. They continue to get in that situation, and it continues to hurt them.
Victor Hayward, the freshman out of Mill Creek High School there in the Atlanta area, had 15 tackles on the season when the day started.
Number 18's back to return this punt.
And Penny Hart backpedaling on a booming kick, calls fair catch, and makes it with his hands at the 17-yard line. What a kick by Matt Flynn. There is no doubt the kicking game heavily in favor of Georgia Southern here today. Timeout on the field. Back in Statesboro, 1 minute and 16 seconds into the 4th quarter. Georgia Southern trying to snap a 7-game losing streak to start the season off to their worst start since 1936, and hoping to beat their rivals today, leading by 3 points.
Now, I'm just excited how good this game, how well these kids have decided to come out and play with the amount of enthusiasm. And usually, unfortunately, for Georgia Southern, by now I'm starting to peep at that watch ESPN, but not now. I'm engaged. This is a beautiful game in a beautiful stadium in a beautiful state.
Pass thrown complete underneath for Penny Hart. Has Glenn Smith out there blocking for him, but couldn't clear the way as Penny Hart is driven out of bounds by Tamarcio Reese at the 28-yard line. Did pick up close to 10 on the play.
Credit Travis Trickett finding ways to get the ball into his playmakers' hands. They came up with a great plan, they being the defense of Georgia Southern, to really completely almost eliminate him altogether in the first half. 1 catch for 11 yards. But the adjustments in the locker room at halftime have been very effective for the team in white.
It's Glenn Smith in motion to the top of your screen. Pass is thrown, and Boyd was the target. Ends up on his backside. Todd Bradley, the linebacker, was standing over him.
Yeah, it just slipped down. And, unfortunately for Georgia Southern, usually a slip down in a receiver means an interception. So that didn't happen for them. But when a receiver slips down, it's usually a catastrophe type of deal for the offense.
Penny Hart now has 6 catches for 129, 70 coming on that one play that set up the Panthers' only offensive touchdown so far today. They set up a screen right here. Glenn Smith able to bring it in. Got some running room across the 45 and finally brought down by Joshua Moon at the 47-yard line. That's a first down, but flag back in the offensive backfield. We likely have it coming back holding on the Panthers.
Yeah, when you see the flag thrown that deep, that's a bad sign for the
Personal
offense.
foul. Face mask.
Oh.
Offense, 75, 15 yards, second down.
Wow, don't see that very often.
Well, I bet he held the face mask. That's all that means.
Yeah.
I mean, there was going to be some holding. They were bringing heavy pressure.
Penalty
Love the call.
half the distance to the goal.
Love the call against that sort of pressure. You want to go a screen or a dump off to the back because he's either not going to be covered, going to have a matchup issue. Because they executed it perfectly, but one of the big guys grabbed somebody else.
Watch 75, Shamarius Gilmore. I didn't see much face mask.
Again, you put me in position to defend the offensive lineman, but I didn't see a whole lot there. I mean, it went up there, but it came off pretty quickly.
Manning hit as he throws. Ball up for grabs on the sideline, incomplete. Jamon Nobles is the target. Sean Freeman on the gut. Jawan Nobles, sophomore wide receiver who doesn't have a catch on the season, was the guy running the route.
You know what? In football, you got to come in and make a play when you get an opportunity. We talked about the competitive greatness. Are you going to have a chance to, or are you going to make that play when you have a chance? I'm really surprised they haven't thrown more 50-50 balls against all this man coverage on the opposite side of number 18, Penny Hart.
Third down and 25. Manning, pocket breaks down. He goes down. Logan Hunt with the quarterback sack. 4 of them today for this Eagles defense.
Now that time the pocket didn't break down as fast as Connor thought it did, and that's a function of the early pass rush we had. Watch Connor begin to get happy feet. Really, there's no one there. He can stay calm, but he's so used to being rushed all day because the team in blue has been coming after him. That speeds his mind up, which speeds his feet up, and then when you speed those feet up on the quarterback, it's usually a bad deal for the offense. Great pass rush. Way to finish it off by Logan.
Holdenson's going to punt out of the end zone, the left-footed kicker. The Australian-born kicker for the Panthers standing 4 yards deep in the end zone. He'll rugby-style kick it out of there. And it's going to hit at the 40 and then take about a 7-yard bounce and roll for the Panthers. And the Eagles on offense at the Georgia State 47 when we get back. Georgia Southern looking for their first win of the season, 11 minutes and 56 seconds away from that. Beautiful Statesboro, Georgia on a summer-like fall day. Temperatures at 82 degrees when we kicked off here today for the first Saturday of November. And Georgia Southern, unaccustomed to waiting until November to get their first win, hoping they're now less than 12 minutes away from upsetting Sean Elliott's team. It's currently 82 still here. On a warm day, and now the Eagles go back on offense with Shai Werts running the option. Oh, man, he got clobbered at the 48-yard line by Victor Hayward and Trajan Stevens McQueen. They're 2 freshmen. That's 2 freshmen right up there teaming up for the big hit.
Love when you see young players making plays because you know the future is bright. But speaking of young players, I think Shai Werts made an error there. He put that ball away too early. He tucked it too early. He had it in good position with 2 hands initially. Watch him come down the line. Watch him put it away. Now he wants to try to pitch it. It's too late now. You got to keep that ball in 2-hand position until you decide you're going to run it. Then you tuck it. Couldn't pitch the ball.
Wert's going to gun it here and bat it up into the air, nearly intercepted.
Yeah, that'll make your heart beat fast there.
That's the first time that Werts has really put the ball in harm's way today. He's 16 of 20 passing.
Well, you got to get your hands up if you're a defender, defensive lineman here, because Werts is only 5'11". So you know that the trajectory of that ball is coming out low. And he's got to get a lot of depth to be able to throw that ball over the big guys. And so if there's any kind of quick pass coming from number 4, get your hands up because you can bat that ball down.
That was Michael Shaw. The Panthers outside linebacker got his mitts on it. It's going to be 3rd down now and 10. Werts firing to the outside. High grab at the 41-yard line by Malik Henry, who just made his 5th catch of the day after catching only 4 balls in their first 6 or 7 games this season.
He's been doing it all day. That ball was going high, but Henry goes up and catches that ball in his hands. 6 foot, 185-pound junior, used all 6 feet of that. And boy, that's a huge stand for this defense of the Panthers, and for more than one. It's a 3 and out to get the ball back, but not a lot of time taken off the clock. And we know that Georgia Southern loves to run clock when they possess the football. So give Nate Fuqua, I should say, and his defense a lot of credit for coming out and playing well.
Penny Hart makes a fair catch in traffic at the 6-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will go on offense. 94 yards away from the end zone and trailing by 3 with 10.5 minutes to 10.5 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Georgia Southern with a 17-14 lead. They send their defense back out there as the Panthers start this possession at the 8-yard line. Glenn Smith gets the Rockheads to the outside edge, gets by Moon across the 20, and Glenn Smith all the way up to the 32-yard line, a big 24-yard run.
And that's why you keep calling the run if you're Travis Trickett. Keep giving Glenn Smith, one of your best football players, an opportunity. And it's not like Georgia Southern's defense has been great all year against the run. They haven't. Just keep calling it.
Manning to the outside to Glenn Smith again. 2nd consecutive touch for Glenn Smith. Monquavian Brinson stops him after a 3-yard gain. 24 yards for Glenn Smith on that previous run. Actually, officially 25. They had 4 yards rushing for the entire day before that sweep.
And they haven't been great all year running the football, but continue to call it to give the defense another look. And you've got some talent at the running back position. You can break one.
Stacked formation here at the bottom of your screen. They fire to the other side. Intercepted by De La Rosa. De La Rosa down to the 28.
That's your leading tackler right there coming up and making a big play. We talked about what it would take to win this football game, competitive greatness. When you get an opportunity, number 34, you make your play. And there's just a bouncing ball coming off of a pass breakup, and he's running to the football as he should be. Johnny on the spot, but a lot of defenders drop balls like that, I'm here to tell you. And De La Rosa says, I've got it. We're going the other way, folks.
Yeah, that was Brinson who broke it up, and the ricochet ends up in De La Rosa's hands. I love De La Rosa. He's old school Penn State looking linebacker with that neck roll. Did you have a neck roll?
No, sir.
No, just the linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. You look silly as a D lineman with a neck roll. Let me just make that clear. But I love him too because he's a rock'em sock'em linebacker. And he's had his struggles trying to cover these backs out of the backfield. But I like the fact that he's continuing to run to the ball wherever it's thrown. And when you hustle on defense, it's amazing how lucky you get.
1st and 10 for the Eagles. Got it back at the Georgia State 28. Wirtz running option. This time he tosses to Garrett. Garrett trying to get out of the clutches of Traylor and can't. And maybe gets a yard on the play.
Pitch looked a little early to me. You know, he's still trying to figure out the nuances.
Well, man, he heard you say you held it to. He said, Ty, I can't make you happy.
That's right. It's hard, man. It's hard running this offense. I mean, that's why it takes snaps. They said it takes a while to figure this thing out. And that time, he saw he held it too long the first time, or the play before, I should say, the option before. This time he throws it too early. He's got to get it down to where everything's happening in sync.
2nd down, Wirt's going to gun it out there to the edge, and Malik Henry again takes on Chandon Sullivan. He looks like he's trying to get a calf down on the ground in the rodeo.
Yeah.
And Henry down to the 21-yard line.
2 good football players going at it. We said Sullivan's an all-conference type guy, and we know that Henry's having an all-conference type day. And the bubble screen has been a big part of this game plan, and it's been successful all day long.
3rd down, Fields on the carry, and Fields has the 1st down. The ball popped out. Let's see if it's going to be Georgia State's ball. They're going to rule that it was down by contact with the ground.
My goodness.
No, they've given the ball to Georgia State. Took him a while to make the call. Here's another look at it.
Execution and competitive greatness. You got to hold on to the football. That's been a point of emphasis by your new
ruling on the
head
field
coach.
I think they're going to
by
overturn
Georgia
this.
State.
Watch, his knee is down before you see the ball pop out.
See, I thought it got batted out by the.
No, it's out after his knee is on the ground.
Yeah, I think that this is the look right here. Now watch him come in and bat it. Now is his knee down like you said?
He's still got possession
Nope,
of the ball
ball's
right
out.
there.
That ball's out.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. That right hand comes in and punches it away before that knee goes down. It was clear to me, partner.
Panthers run the play. No review there. Nearly intercepted again. This time it was the safety Murray who nearly picked it.
Competitive greatness. You got to make the play when your opportunity comes. Number 2 had your opportunity right there from Duluth, Georgia. The junior, 205, 6 feet tall, and you got to catch the football, young man.
2nd down and 10.
This is not the sharpest I've seen Connor Manning.
Handoff, Glenn Smith running the sweep to the near side. Now the cutback, and got dragged down by Raymond Johnson.
Wow, I didn't think the cutback was there. I thought he had room front side. I believe it was a premature cutback. There's some good blocking to the outside. Now 41 showed up late, but he had a crease. And it's easier said than done. We're sitting way up here, but I would have liked to see that ball stay front side.
Raymond Johnson, 6 tackles today for the freshman and a quarterback sack. 3rd down and 5. Panthers are 0 for 9 on 3rd downs today. What a flip of the script. I mean, Georgia State.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 12 men broke the formation. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Georgia State was converting 47% of their thirds this season. Number 1 in the conference. They're 0 for 9 today. Georgia Southern was completing 28% of their thirds. Last in the conference. They're 7 for 18 today.
Amazing. That's called flipping the script. But it's also called coming in every single game ready to play. It doesn't matter what the team's record was prior. Every game is an opportunity to show what type of program you are, what type of player you are, and you better be ready to play no matter who the opponent is.
3rd down, Joshua Moon, the safety, coming on a blitz right up the middle. Manning got hit as he throws, ball up. It's caught over the shoulder by Penny Hart, and finally dragged down inside the 30-yard line by Darrell Baker. Manning stood in there and took the punishment and got it downfield to Hart.
And what about the turnaround for Penny Hart? Just in these games. First half wasn't there. 1 catch, 11 yards. The second half, he's been tremendous. What great quickness and route running this guy has. The only thing he doesn't have is amazing top-end speed. If he does, he's gone there. But he's quick enough, he's fast enough, and he's got tremendous hands and competitive greatness. When you call his number and it's time for him to make a play, he's going to make it.
And what a big moment for the Panthers to convert on 3rd down for the first time today.
Interference with contact on Georgia State. 15 yards. 1st down.
53-yard reception. The infraction marks off against the Panthers. They still get the 1st down out of it. And so Penny Hart with that 53-yard catch now has 182 on the day.
What's amazing to me is with the amount of penalties and mistakes, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in this last 7 minutes and 54 seconds, I mean, it sounds cliche, but that's who's going to win a game. In a game where a ton of mistakes are being made, if you just make 1 or 2 less than the other guy, you're going to win it.
That backs them up to the 43 instead of the 27 or thereabouts. They toss to Kyler Neal. Neal on the sweep, got away from De La Rosa, and then Moon comes up and hits him hard at the 35-yard line. That gets him back close to the 1st down at the 34, about a yard short.
Stinger time for Kyler Neal, too. When you see a player hold that shoulder down like that and wants to take off his helmet with just one hand, that's a stinger. I've been there, and for about 30 seconds, it's the most excruciating feeling you'll ever have.
That was just the 3rd rush of the day for Kyler Neal.
You want to know how a stinger feels? Here, he can do this. Take your bottom lip and pull it over your head. That's what a stinger feels like.
I'll just take your word for it. Manning fires, 1st down catch by Glenn Smith. And so the Panthers move the sticks right there with exactly 7 minutes remaining.
all-purpose demons, number 17. He can run it, he can catch it, he can block, he does a little bit of everything. Tremendous, tremendous skills in that guy.
10 catches, 10 rushes, 44 yards for him today, 6 catches for 36. So he's pretty much outside of Penny Hart. He's been the next guy on the list. 1st and 10.
Man coverage.
Manning fires, Hart the target, Brinson on the coverage, 2nd down.
See, that's when you like to see Georgia State go ahead and convert those situations. They had man coverage right there. You put Penny Hart in man coverage, you're asking for trouble. Georgia Southern got away with it that time, though. See, I wouldn't leave him in man ever. What's the point? I mean, he's already proven it. I don't need him to prove it to me and beat me. I know he's good.
Glenn Smith goes to the outside, and Logan Hunt gets him on the ground at the 26. They got 5 on that play, brings up a 3rd down and 5 for the Panthers.
A huge 3rd and 5.
Now, remember the struggles the Panthers have had in the kicking game. I don't think they'll be going back to that today.
No, I think this is 2-down territory. I think Travis Trickett is going to call this 3rd down based on the fact that he's going to go for a 4th down, which means to me, I wouldn't be shocked if they ran the football, or I wouldn't be shocked they threw something really safe and underneath. They go empty. Again, quarterback draws there, but I doubt they go there.
3rd and 5. Time for Manning, firing, tipped into the air, off of the hands of Penny Hart. Coverage there by Sean Freeman, and a flag down back at the 35-yard line. Did we have a hit on Manning? And we have a hold that's going to be declined, I think.
Traver Vleen, every time I watch the guy play, he shows up. Redshirt freshman, 6'4", 260, making it happen. Holds are forced by defensive linemen.
Offense, 69, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Lucas Johnson, the junior who started at right tackle today. And they will take the penalty.
He's normally a guard, and usually when those guards move out the tackle, there's an athletic mismatch. And Traver Vleen is trying to make him pay for being a guard as he pulls him down. I've seen worse.
Come on, man.
I've seen worse. That's not the most egregious hold.
That wasn't a hold. That was a tackle. 3rd down. Manning, heavy rush, steps up and fires, and nearly picked again. Hart was there. Look at that. 4 Georgia Southern blue jerseys bracket a hole around Hart, trying to shut that guy down. Vildor nearly got the pick. And now it's 4th down, and the Panthers got to go for it here. They have no confidence, and they're going to punt, I think. They're not going to kick a field goal.
Look at Connor try to fit that ball in, and I don't know that it was tipped by 24.
They are going to try a field goal.
Freeman. But just his presence sort of threw off the timing and the concentration of Penny Hart, and he tried to fit that thing in, and look at this.
Wow, I'm surprised they're trying one here. This is a 53-yard kick for Brandon Wright, who's missed 4 in a row. Kick is going to be no good.
Really curious about that.
Well, that's 6 points the Panthers have missed right there. As Brandon Wright is now 4 for 13 on the season.
They're in, sort of that tweener territory where it's sort of too short to punt it.
Yeah.
It's too long to kick it, especially with the struggles. Why not go for it? The best players on your football team are number 7 and number 18. And they play offense. Leave the offense on the field and give them another opportunity to make a play for you.
Let me ask you, as a former player of many years, college football, 12 in the NFL, what's more demoralizing, failing on 4th down or missing a field goal?
Missing a field goal because you wanted the points on the board. 4th downs come and go. Chances to change the scoreboard doesn't happen very often, so when you don't get it done, it's demoralizing.
And let me tell you, that miss is huge because now with 5:24, your defense has to get that Georgia Southern offense off the field. If they get cranked up and rolling with that option and stuff, you might not get the ball back.
And remember, the ball was spotted at the spot of the actual kick. If they go for it and don't get the 1st down on 4th, you either get the yardage gained or it goes to the line of scrimmage and save the 7 yards. So Again, I'm very curious as to understand why the decision to kick that football.
So ball at the 39, second down. Keeper, pitch, works, goes to Fields. Fields, he fumbled the ball! It's scooped up by the Panthers, and they've got new life. Traylor picked it up. That's the second time today the Eagles have coughed it up and put the Panthers in a scoop situation. They scored the first time. This time they get it back at the 31.
And my question to you, partner, is who wants to win this football game?
Yeah.
Who wants to take control of it and don't beat themselves and win the game? Because whoever decides to do that and really decides to do it will win it. But so far, I can't tell who that is.
I'm with you on that. They've been trading mistakes right here, and now the Panthers get it back on offense with a chance in a short field, 31 yards to go and 4:56 to play.
I mean, that's like you having a really big piece of sweet potato pie and giving it to me, and I say, no, I don't want it. Here, you take it. No, I don't want it. This is my mama's sweet potato pie, too, so it's the best. And you keep giving it to me, I keep
see,
giving
there's
it to
a
you.
problem with that analogy. I would never give you any of my pie.
And if you did, it wouldn't come back to you. That's
exactly.
For darn
I know that. I'd be in a fight to get it back. Manning going to dump it off here for Glenn Smith. Glenn Smith, block out on the edge. Somebody lost a helmet. Ifedi, the wide receiver, so he's got to come off the field. And they picked up 2 on that play. 4 fumbles for the Eagles today, and they've actually lost 3 of them.
You add the penalties in there, you don't know. I don't know how they win in the game.
So actually 5 total fumbles and 3 lost fumbles here today.
And that's inexcusable there because the ball was never even contacted by the defender. He just flat dropped it.
Manning steps up in the pocket, going to run it himself, and he's going to be wrapped up and dropped at the 24-yard line. Logan Hunt there and Raymond Johnson. What a game the freshman Raymond Johnson has had today.
Johnson's played great. You're right. And the entire defensive line has stepped up. They have really been humming all day. They haven't slowed down. You see a lot of big-time pass rushing. It's beginning to get tired. But because their offense generally is possessing the football, they get plenty of opportunity to rest. They haven't substituted a lot. The guys in the front row have come to play and played well all day.
3rd down and 3. Boyd in motion. Manning to the outside, caught by Glenn Smith. Nice throw from Manning. First down, Panthers at the 8-yard line.
Great job. That ball was thrown even before a move was made. That's excellent timing, excellent anticipation, and a great job of getting his head around and catching that late because that ball ate him up. Connor Manning saw what was happening, read the defense, and quickly got rid of that ball with an accurate throw.
Manning over 300 yards passing now. He's at 310, 21 of 35.
And Glenn Smith continues to torch this defense as an all-purpose threat.
Kyler Neal now in the game at running back. He'll get the handoff, nothing. Drop for a loss. R.J. Murray, the safety, coming on a blitz, drops him for a 2-yard loss.
One thing about this Neal guy, he's not going to put the ball on the ground. He knows exactly what to do when the ball gets in his hands. He's covering it up. Certainly was a TFL, a beautiful TFL by the safety coming across, unblocked, and Murray. But again, you can trust Neal when he's got his hands on the ball.
2nd down and goal from the 9.5. Under 3 minutes to play in regulation. If you don't get it here, do you try another field goal? This close.
You know my answer. No way.
Here comes a blitz again. They pick it up. Manning fires. Ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Murray, who had made the tackle on the previous play coming on a blitz, comes on a blitz again and put a lot of pressure on Manning. I don't think he ever got there. The ball was deflected by somebody else.
Well, Murray says, you know what? You
highlighted. It was Murray.
It was. Look at that effort, huh? He got blocked, got bounced around, turned around, got his hand up and made a play, and he's mad that I highlighted Brian Williams at the beginning of this game. He said, no, there's another safety on this field. And it's R.J. Murray. Certainly, I dropped the interception earlier, but I've stepped up in crunch time.
I mean, he got blown up pretty good by Neal on the block, and he just spun off that thing and still deflected the pass.
It's those one-hitter quitters. You got to sustain the block as a back to keep him off and out of your quarterback's face.
3rd down. They fire for the end zone. Ball is up for grabs. Was it caught for a touchdown? It was.
What a route.
Penny Hart somehow comes down with that for the score. Or was it Glenn Smith? I think it was it Penny or Glenn?
I think that was Hart.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was number 18. It was Penny Hart.
Yeah, I mean That route was a Penny Hart route, and that was a Penny Hart catch. And that was a great throw by Connor Manning. Watch him put this ball in the corner end zone, but what a great corner route there. Look at that effort. That guy is something. Now, I don't know if that foot got down. Let's see that again. Let's see if that foot gets, yep,
yeah, it's down.
Yep, that's a touchdown. All you need is one in college football, and this Hart guy is unreal. I mean, if you don't double cover number 18, he will beat you. Simple as that.
Huge PAT is through, and so now the Panthers have a 4-point lead with 2:31 to play.
You talking about ripping the heart out of an entire stadium collectively?
Yeah.
Connor Manning just did that with that throw.
What a day for those two. Connor Manning, 22 of 37 for 319 and a couple of touchdowns. And Penny Hart, 8 catches for 191.
Ridiculous.
He had
having 11 yards in the first half. Excuse me, partner.
Well, it's a record setting. He had 11 catches for 190 at ULM earlier this season when he was named the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week. Well, he's got 8 for 191 today.
Will probably be the Offensive Player of the Week in the Sun Belt this week as well. He's going to be first team All Sun Belt. He'll get some All-American consideration as well, deservedly so. But the guy just continues. Again, we talked about competitive greatness. What you saw right there was a pass-catch combination that has been great all season. And it was the greatest when they needed him the most. Heavy pressure in terms of the timing of the game. They needed a big throw, and they needed a great route, and they needed a great catch, 1 foot down. That might be enough to win it for them. We'll see.
Miles Campbell will take it at the 5-yard line. Campbell up to the 20, tippy toes up to the 21, and that's where the Eagles go on offense. They need a touchdown. They've been able to pass the ball effectively today, Ty, playing with the lead. Can they do it playing from behind?
Yeah, a lot of those throws were during a time where you could have run or throw. It wasn't completely must-throw situations. A lot of those throws also were bubble screens where it didn't really matter if you didn't get 12 or 13 on one play. If you get 4 or 5, that was successful. Different situation here. You need to throw the football. You must throw the football. The defense knows it. This is the worst possible scenario for this type of offense.
Shai Werts has been the quarterback for every series today except for one in the first half. Werts fires to the outside. It's caught by Malik Henry. Another catch by Henry. That is his 7th of the day.
Yeah, he's played great. Now, you know you're going to get zone coverage if you're Brian Cook. You want to run zone beaters. Why do we know you're going to get zone? Because they're going to be scared to death to play man coverage and let this Shai Werts get out of the gate. Because we said before, if you're playing man coverage, you won't see him scramble. You're going to get zone. Let's see where they can come up to beat these zones.
Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining. Werts going to run it right up the middle. Makes a man miss. And Werts holding on to the football. Stopped by Payne at the 35-yard line. That will stop the clock long enough to move the sticks.
Now, see, that you're upset if you're Nate Fuqua because you're running zone to keep eyes on the quarterback. You're looking for the quarterback draw. That should be a dead play, and yet they're able to execute it with great blocking and great quickness by the quarterback.
They spot it at the 36.
His own man kind of made that tackle right there, too. Probably got a couple more yards.
Glenn makes the grab. He goes down at the 45. Georgia Southern might have to burn a timeout here. Clock is still running. 1:19-18.
The outside slant has been there all day. And Shai Werts has been throwing it really accurately.
Ramsby runs it. Now they got to burn a timeout. They'll stop the clock at 47. The clock does stop to move the chains, but unless they've got a play ready to go.
And they need to get up to the line of scrimmage now. The freshman has to have them ready to go right now, and the coaching staff is slow with this play.
Clock under a minute. Time running out on Georgia Southern. They've got it first and 10 at their own 47.
Not enough sense of urgency here.
Werts, heavy rush, fires, and was it caught at the 41? They're going to rule no catch. Henry says he had it. The back judge comes running in and says he did not grab it. Stops the clock, 47 seconds.
It's a review situation. Let's see if he got those hands underneath that ball. looks like
Ruling
maybe,
on the field is an incomplete pass.
looks like maybe the nose of that football might have touched the turf.
Can't tell from that angle.
No chance there. But here's what's most important. The call on the field is it is incomplete. So that sets the table for the review. The evidence from the video must be conclusive that the call on the field was wrong in order for it to be changed. And based on those two looks from that angle, I don't think we're going to get it changed.
I don't think so either. I think that it looked like on that the first look we had from the back end zone camera that the ball probably hit the ground with him falling on top of it. But even if it didn't, the video doesn't show that it didn't.
Yeah, I would say it exactly the way you did. And because it's probably, I think the actual words will be the call on the field stands. I don't think it'll be confirmed. I certainly don't think it will be overturned. I think the call on the field will stand and it'll be second down.
Look at the second half stats here and the passing yardage for Georgia State. Now, that said, they just took the lead a few moments ago, so those passing yards haven't meant that it's led to a lot of points, but it has led to them getting back in the game.
And what you've also seen is a complete reversal of the third down conversions. Now this is more what Georgia Southern's been all year. They're 1-6 on third down conversions and have not been able to sustain the drives. When they had the lead, they could have run even more clock. And so here they are in this situation. Got to give credit to Georgia State. Their first and second down defense has been really stellar. Save the first
Ruling
first
on the
quarter.
field stands. Incomplete pass.
Yep. I mean, I figured that's what they were going to call there because there was just not enough video evidence to reverse the call on the field.
We talked about the maturity of Shai Werts and how he's a different quarterback just from a few weeks ago when I saw him last. Let's see how mature he really is. This is the sort of drive that grows up a quarterback really quickly and begins to get an entire program rallied behind him.
Second down and 10. Eagles need a touchdown. Heavy rush from Hayward. Tries to get away from Hayward, and Hayward makes up the distance and drops him at the 49-yard line. And the Eagles have to burn a timeout, now 40 seconds.
That was the right decision.
Georgia Southern, second charge timeout, 30-second timeout.
That leaves them with just one remaining. As we take a look at the schedules here for these two teams, Georgia State at 4-3, 3-1 in the conference. They'll be at Texas State. And then App State and Idaho hosting those two teams to wrap up. And that App State game looking very big for this Panthers team. If they win here today, they're 4-1, and they're just a half game out of first place.
Yeah, they've got a lot to play for. They knew that coming in. Got off the bus, not quite ready to play. But that halftime speech and those, more importantly, the adjustments made by the coaching staff were excellent. And here they are now, just 40 seconds away from a win.
Third down and 6. Werts rolling and throwing. It's caught by Henry for a first down. Malik Henry has come up really big today for a young man who had only 4 catches for 104 yards. He's got 8 grabs here today.
Beautiful. Just a great route again, just a bench route, and the ball comes out with a lot of heat on it. Does a great job of plucking that ball out of the air, and I'm really continuing to be impressed with Shai Werts. He's growing up, partner.
But it's been small passing game, not a lot of intermediate stuff. They've got to move the sticks a little bit quicker than this. And Werts back to pass. Gonna heave it as far as he can. Got Henry out there. Battle for the ball and broken up. Flag down. We'll check the call. Chandon Sullivan was running step for step with him. Let's see who the call is going to be on.
A lot of contact, a lot of hand fighting by both guys. I believe this is going to go against Sullivan, but what a tremendous job of him finishing the play.
And pardon me, it was
Defense.
Jerome Smith.
Number 16.
They called it on Jerome Smith.
Yeah, it is
Touchdown.
Smith. Boy, that still could have been a touchdown. Even though he's going to get called for that penalty, this is college football. It's just a 15-yard penalty.
Right.
It's a spot foul in the NFL. That ball would be spotted down there on the goal line. But what I like by Jerome Smith was he finished the play, because that could have easily been a touchdown. He fought and continued to fight throughout the play, got that ball out. So it's just look at it as a 15-yard penalty, 15-yard gain. They can still play defense and try to get a win. But again, Shai Werts, very impressive, just a freshman.
28 seconds from the 26. Werts Heavy rush, being chased, scrambling, throwing on the run. Caught by Fortune at the 16-yard line. Clock.
Got to clock it.
Is stopped with 19 seconds to move the sticks. Eagles quickly to the line. They're going to clock it.
Oh, my goodness.
They lost 4 seconds right there trying to clock it. And did we have movement on the Eagles? I think we did.
You did. And Wirtz has got to get up there and call it right now. He cannot hold his offensive line in there. That's another, I believe, it's just a freshman mistake. When they get set, you got to call it right now. Big guys don't like to be sitting in their stands too long, especially when they're anticipating a snap.
They said the pass completion was to Darian Anderson. I thought it was 9, Obi
False
Fortune.
start.
But apparently
Offense,
it was
62. 5-yard penalty.
Darian
Georgia Southern
Anderson
has used their
who got
last
him down
timeout to
there.
avoid the 10-second runoff. Final timeout for Georgia Southern, 30-second timeout.
So you hear they had to burn the timeout there to avoid a 10-second runoff. So now the Eagles have no timeouts remaining.
Now that will go in the books as a false start against Northrop, but again, I'm hanging that on the freshman. He's got to get him up there and get that ball snapped right away to avoid that penalty.
Georgia Southern 0-7, 0-3 in the Sun Belt, still trying to pull out their first win of the season. Got a big one next at App State, short week Thursday night on ESPNU, and then back here for their final home game on November 18th against South Alabama on ESPN3, on the road to wrap things up at Louisiana and Coastal.
Now, as I look at that schedule means two different things depending on what happens in this game. Because if they win this game, this is the type of thing that could springboard them through the rest of the schedule, and they'll have a chance to win every ball game they play. If they lose this one, this could hang over their head for even more so than the other 7 games they lost this year.
From the 20, Wirtz scrambling, throwing, throws for the end zone, throws it away. Campbell, the intended target. Now they're down to 10 seconds remaining.
Just the play before, he did an excellent job of extending the play, allowed his receiver to get open through a great ball on the run, which he's been doing all day, caught it first down. But, man, that 5-yard false start really hurt the rest of this drive.
Wirtz steps up in the pocket, can't take a sack. He's going to have to run it. That's going to do it. They have no timeouts remaining. And Georgia State is going to win it 21-17.
My. Again, when you play a freshman who hasn't played a lot, he just doesn't understand. Muscle memory takes over. When that rush comes, he wants to run. He's got to know that ball has to leave his hands. It was 10 seconds left on the clock before he snapped it. When he steps up, he's got to either throw the ball away or throw it in the end zone. He lets muscle memory take over, tries to make a play. That's the ball game.
Georgia State survives the upset bid from the Georgia Southern Eagles. And the Panthers have now won 3 straight in the rivalry. And they're the good friends. Sean Elliott and Chad Lunsford, they've known each other a long time. Elliott gave him a job 15 years ago to be his tight end coach at App State. And Elliott said we'd hug at the end of the game and be friends for the rest of our lives. And they do indeed hug. Sean Elliott will take the bus ride back to Atlanta with the Panthers' 5th win of the season. And they are 4-1 in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern drops to 0-8. We'll come back and wrap things up in a moment. And welcome back. Georgia State, a 21-17 winner over Georgia Southern. Matt Stewart along with Tyoka Jackson. And Ty, on a day when Georgia State certainly didn't seem like they were at their best in the first half, they made the adjustments. They became the better team in the second half and win this thing.
Yeah, you got to give them a lot of credit for continuing to play for 4 quarters. This game is about 4 of them, not just 1. And so certainly Georgia Southern won the first quarter and first half, but as the game continued, you saw a hot quarterback get hotter, and they found a way to get to their playmaker.
And how about Georgia State? They are now here on the first Saturday of November, 1 win away from bowl eligibility, and still very much in the race for the conference championship.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how you win in the game. As long as you win the game, that's most important. They won against a state rival, but more important, like you said, bowl eligibility. You still got the championship out there for you. Just keep playing well every single week. Wasn't pretty today, but you got the W on the road. That
ride back to Atlanta is going to be a fun ride.
It's going to be sweet. Connor Manning, 319 in the air. Penny Hart, 191 receiving. And the big killer for the Eagles, 3 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, and they continue to shoot themselves in the foot with penalties, and those turnovers hurt bad. For a while, they were trying to figure out who wanted the game, right? I mean, the other team kept giving it away to the other team, and so I felt the team that made the one less mistake was going to win it, and that's exactly what happened. Georgia Southern made one more turnover, one more mistake, and it cost them.
So Georgia Southern now 0-8 on the season. Georgia State is now 5-3, and they are now 4-1 in the Sun Belt Conference. Georgia State, the 21-17 winners here today in Statesboro. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, you can log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. And so now for Tioka Jackson and the entire ESPN team, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from Statesboro, where the Panthers beat the Eagles 21-17. This has been a presentation of ESPN.